There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to protect people's health, to preserve magnificent places and wildlife, and to combat climate change. Visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and watch gardening videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Hopefully you can get outside and enjoy this beautiful spring-like weather. A high of 72 this afternoon under sunny skies. It will be a chilly night. We drop back down to around 40 under clear skies. Bright sunshine with us again tomorrow with a high of 70, and we will repeat again on Thursday.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 180 points to 43,641.
Jackson has it to Cadeau, right back to Jackson, who floats through the tall trees of Florida State for the scooping layup. Mile-long three by R.J. Davis, reins it in over the challenge of Washington. With R.J. Davis to a trailing Jalen Washington, they leave him open for 3 from straight on. And then a bounce pass inside taken away by Carolina. Tar Heels on the run. Drake Powell, tough pass to Jalen Washington for the layup. High screen by Ben Allen Lubin, so a switch has a big man on Davis. Over to Cadeau, open for 3. Yes, Cadeau!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. What's going on, everybody? I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. North Carolina is on a 4-game win streak. Tar Heels, 4-game win streak. Has the competition been top-notch? Maybe not. Has the execution always been cream of the crop? Likely no. But 4-game win streak is a 4-game win streak, and that is important, especially when you factor in that they might be being dragged, possibly kicking and screaming, into modern college basketball away from the court. Jim Tanner hired as the general manager of the North Carolina Tar Heels men's basketball program. Jim Tanner is being brought in for a multitude of reasons. Okay, he is, by all accounts, and we've just read press releases and things. It's not like we've gotten to know the guy, but he's connected in all the ways you'd want a GM to be connected. A college basketball GM. He's a longtime agent for NBA players, NBA coaches, WNBA players. And I'm talking, this isn't like he's end of the bench guys, like Hall of Famers. Okay, so actually I have some of them right here just to read it for you. Currently, players like Jared Allen with the Cavs, Desmond Bane with the Grizzlies, we're talking like $100 million contracts.
Okay.
Former players I mentioned, Hall of Famers, Ray Allen, Grant Hill, Tim Duncan, Shane Battier.
Heard of those guys.
Former UNC players, the list goes on and on. Marvin Williams, John Henson, Isaiah Hicks, Sean May, Brandon Wright, Tyler Hansborough, Justin Jackson, Raymond Felton, Luke May, and Joel Berry, amongst others. So he's exceptionally connected there. One of the crucial parts of his background is he worked with his players on and off the court. Right? There are certain agents that handle just contracts, negotiating with team. Let me get you your basketball money, and then you can go sign with someone else for your marketing opportunities. His the business that he owned handled both. Which means he was out working with brands to create advertising campaigns and finding endorsements for his clients. That's NIL. That is what NIL is. Now, it'll be a little different because he'll be more selling like you could have the point guard of North Carolina rather than like you could have Raymond Felton, right? Because it'll be about building the value in the program, but selling is selling. A ton of experience in the basketball world, and also he's a North Carolina guy, right? Grew up in High Point. He's a graduate of UNC. Had a very prestigious scholarship whose name is escaping me at the moment. He's connected, so he's within the UNC family, but it's not like the old days where if you didn't like play for Dean Smith, you're not even a possibility to be in the program. So all of this is great. What he's brought in to do from like a job understanding standpoint, like when you show up on your first day and they give you the sheet of paper that says like duties and responsibilities, it's going to be NIL, it's going to be recruiting, it's going to be brand partnerships and everything. Like he's going to GM the team. Here's what I think from a big picture. Right? If you always have like the duties and responsibilities, then you have like a mission statement. Here's what I think Jim Tanner's mission statement is going to be for UNC. Bring him into the future. Don't have any of our competitors out there that have something that we don't also have if we want it, right? Shouldn't be the last team amongst the Blue Bloods to get a GM. Should have the best partnerships with things like Jordan Brand, with things like everywhere, like all of the local businesses. You shouldn't be behind football in innovation, which you absolutely were as soon as Bill Belichick signed on to be your head coach. And it pairs with Hubert Davis. Now here's an interesting part of the story that broke today. Shout out to Brian Murphy, WRAL Sports investigative reporter. He was the first place I saw it.
Big shout out.
Hubert Davis signed a contract extension recently. Now, the timeline of it appears to be the deal was agreed upon July 1st. But because we learned this with Bill Belichick as well, I guess there's just lawyers that want more billable hours. It was signed in mid-December. So it was agreed upon July 1st. There were months until they decided to sign. It was signed in mid-December. Basic college coaching contract, base salary $1.25 million. There's supplemental income that brings it up to $1.75 or $1.7 million this year. $100,000 increase every year. The additional $550K basically comes from Learfield. That's just run-of-the-mill structure for coaches. You get a little bit from the media, a little bit from and it totals whatever it totals.
Yeah, a little bit from Nike, those kinds of things.
Here's the rub of it all. Right, because the irony is probably mid-December into the new year is when our comments were filled most with like the Hubert Davis conversation about whether he should or should not be the man leading the Tar Heels through the foreseeable future. And it turns out around that same time, he was signing a contract that tied him to the program through 2030. If you are in a future, right? If you are UNC of the now, if you are Jim Tanner's UNC Tar Heels, I hate to say it, but this is how the Blue Bloods operate. That doesn't mean you can have a contract that ties you to the program through 2030. Doesn't mean you're going to be with the program through 2030. According to Brendan Marks, covers a whole bunch of college basketball teams, including UNC, for The Athletic, the buyout, and I emphasize, as Brendan did in his reporting, only should be in quotations here. But the buyout is only his base salary times the number of years remaining. And if you remember, his base salary is $1.25 million. So another 5 years, $1.25 million. You could buy this guy out for a little over $6 million. That's a lot of money, yes. Shouldn't be for UNC basketball. I'm going to relate this to he came on our show. It was Jerry Ferrara, Turtle from Entourage. They have a podcast now, and I was listening to it, right? Support those who support you. Came on our show. I was throwing him a listen.
Yes, he and Matt Leinart.
It is, exactly. It's called Throwbacks. He was talking about the deals they signed with HBO for Entourage. He's like, we'll sign a 5-year deal. They can cancel us at any point in time. I have no idea why we sign a 5-year deal. It's a 1-year deal. It's just like, hey, if we keep you, this is how much you're going to get paid. That's how some Blue Bloods operate. We'll agree to a contract, but if you're not living up to our standards, you're gone. You may say that's ruthless. Sure. You may say that's disloyal. I might agree with you. But the first thing you do when you realize you're making a mistake is stop making that mistake. And you don't, if you're UNC, worry about the details because you're the North Carolina Tar Heels. Jim Tanner, your new GM, with all that business acumen, all of that Rolodex, that gigantic Rolodex across businesses and basketball, if he's bringing in cash the way a program like North Carolina should be bringing in cash, you get the best coach that you possibly can. If you still think that's Hubert Davis, fantastic. I'm not arguing against it. He's got him on a 4-game win streak. We've seen him flip the switch with a team in mid to late February and go on a heck of a run. If he does that, more power to him. But if the powers that be look around and say, that's not the way we should operate, the reason to keep a coach should never be money for North Carolina. It should be because you think he's best for the job. The reason you keep a GM should never be money. It should be because you think he's best for the job. Or actually, I guess it could be money. If he's bringing in so much money, that's kind of that's
job well done.
Yeah, that's exactly. He's fulfilling his duties very well. Then that will show you that he's good at that job. My point is, from this point forward, now that you're catching up as far as structure and you've acknowledged that you can't just do things the way you've done them the last 100 years, now that you're into the modern college sports realm, your expectations as a brand like UNC should be extremely high. And if they ever drop below that threshold, you need to evaluate what you have going on. Money should never be a reason to, like, I've covered programs, quote unquote, lesser programs who had to stink for 2 years and everybody knew it. This coach isn't the guy, but his buyout makes it so we can't fire him right now. That's a really tough place to be for a fan base where everybody's just like, hey, what are we going to do? We got to wait 2 years? All right, we had 26 months. That's when the buyout drops to something that we can afford. Let's wait 26. Let's start a calendar.
Got to suffer through this?
UNC should never do that. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying you're in the future now. It's a different beast. Attack it. I want to see. Let's see. I don't even know who's going to be on the team next year. I want to see Seth Trimble, if he returns, in commercials. I want to see him driving a nicer car. I want to see him doing all those things. That's what everybody else, every other team in the country is doing, especially those with any cachet. So get to it, Jim Tanner. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. And by the way, you won the game last night, so it's easier to have tough conversations after W's. I promise you.
We'll break that down shortly.
We absolutely will. But first, we have to break down little bit of maybe a way we can make some money too, right? It's all about the Benjamins. Rohit Ponnaiya, betting analyst, covers.com, joins us to talk a little wagering on college basketball next.
Listen for the Did He Just Do That?
Johnson trying to step back for a three. Bring it up. Left side. Boy, that was cold-blooded.
The deep looks from downtown.
Damask from the right block. Gives to Hawkins. Straight on. Triple. Good. They left him open, and he makes him pay.
The Get That Out of Here's.
Bonner to the basket. Rejected by Renew, who saw that one coming.
Your exclusive home for the Final Four. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing. Made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew. 30 seconds. That's it. Done. Peace.
Ever have one of those days where your gut just feels blah?
Ugh, yes.
Occasional bloating or gas could be signs that your gut is out of balance, but Align Probiotic can help. Align 24/7 Digestive Support is a daily use probiotic with a unique strain to help relieve occasional digestive issues. It's the #1 doctor-recommended brand. So when you feel the signs, it's time to try Align. Align Probiotic. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and watch gardening videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get a free rate quote with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
And the rebound tapped out, claimed by James. Sion across midcourt. He's got Knipple in the right corner. Waits for help, sends across court. Proctor on the left, takes a three. Oh, he's feeling it. Tyrese has 15, and the lead back to 18.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are just a couple of days away from March, which means a whole bunch of casual bettors, sports gamblers may start taking a bit of a more serious interest. And to help you out, we have Rohit Ponnaiya, betting analyst from covers.com, joining us here on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Rohit, thank you very much for taking the time. We'll start with the team playing tonight. That's from right here in the Triangle. We're talking about Duke. It seems like the hype train has gotten pretty aggressive. Like, can you make money on Duke this year? Or have they become such a favorite in so many of the futures and everything that, the juice isn't worth the squeeze and putting your money on them?
Actually at this point, I think there is still a little bit of value left on Duke. You're looking at them at about plus 400 to win the title right now, close to even money, about minus 120 to make the Final Four. And, I think there is still value because, like you said, people are going to be betting more the closer we get to March Madness. I think they have a pretty easy path through the ACC tournament. I think Auburn might stumble a little bit because the SEC is so tough. And I think by the time, the middle of March rolls around, I think we could see an even shorter line on Duke. And we know how much the public loves to bet on the Blue Devils as well. So definitely some liability on the books as well. So I think this line could get even shorter.
To zero in a bit, they play Miami tonight. Do you have a bet or a lean there that you like?
This is a tough one because the spread is so massive. I do have a lean on Duke. It is at minus 22.5, though. But the Hurricanes have just been so terrible on both ends of the floor. It's pretty much been a lost season for them. I think Duke wins. If I had to take anything, I'd lay the points on them. One thing that's interesting, though, that I've been doing a bit, if you have parlays at your book, is on these big spreads, I've been laying the points with Duke, but taking the under points for Cooper Flagg. Because in these blowout wins, he tends to play less minutes. He tends to pass the ball more and look for a shot less. So that parlay is something that's been very profitable for me this year. So one thing to keep in mind.
We're talking with Rohit Ponnaiya, Covers.com betting analyst. When you talk about those props, right, because I dabble in them. They're so fun. But I was on your social media today. Looked like you're betting the rebounds a lot. Are those more predictive than the points? You just gave us kind of an under on an individual player's points?
Yeah, it really just depends on the matchup and what's going on. I find sometimes with the matchups, rebounds tend to be a little bit off in terms of setting the markets for them, especially when teams have, are playing at an extremely fast pace, or certain teams tend to shoot more threes, and if they miss those, that's longer rebounds for the guards. So that sort of thing I feel is really hard for books to price. So you can sometimes find a little bit of value on those.
Looking around the triangle, UNC 4-game win streak, they won last night. Are you seeing something that might make you dabble on them as a pick for things like the ACC tournament, winning a couple games, winning the whole thing, or is it fool's gold because of the competition they've been facing recently?
Yeah, for the most part, I don't think. This is not a year that I think they're a contender. I kind of thought they might have been entering the season, but it doesn't look like the case now. But I do think they kind of make it into March Madness. Right now, I think there's a few books that have, numbers on them to just make March Madness, and I think it's about minus 170 at most books. I think there's some value in that. I think they have a chance, I think, at winning out. Big win, of course, would be the end of the regular season against Duke. Mm-hmm. But I think the Blue Devils might be a little bit of a look-ahead spot for the Blue Devils. They might be looking ahead to the tourney, probably are going to have the regular season wrapped up already. So I think that could be a sneaky one that North Carolina could win, and that sort of signature win will definitely get them into the big dance, even if they don't go far.
Do you have any things you look for, right? As we're moving towards March and brackets are obviously becoming a thing, like it used to be you want veteran guards. Like that was the cliche going into the tourney. Is it still that, or with NIL and the transfer portal, is there another kind of, baseline basic fact you look for?
Well, guard play is still extremely important, but another thing I'll say is just because we've seen, the NBA has had this happen too, but college basketball as well, we've seen it really turn into a three-point shooting game. There's so much three-point shooting out there, and I think one thing to keep in mind is that teams that are heavily reliant on three-point shooting tend to be more volatile. So if you're looking to win, 4 or 5 straight games in a row in a tournament, you really need to be on with your three-point shooting, and if those aren't dropping, you need to be really good defensively to shut things down. Other teams, for example, don't shoot threes quite as much. They attack the inside more. They get to the free throw line, and that tends to be more consistent. So that's something I definitely look forward to in March, because the teams which, the underdogs, the Cinderella teams, which are very streaky with their three-point shooting, they can pull off an upset. But those favorites that rely a lot on the three ball, they could really shoot themselves out of games.
Rohit Ponnaiya, Covers.com betting analyst, connecting with us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. You brought up underdogs, Cinderellas. Everyone's chasing them.
Yes, sir.
We were right here in the kind of eye of it all last year. NC State went on that dramatic run. Do you find value in searching for the NC States of the world, or is it more when those happen you just kind of chalk it up to a loss because predicting them is too tough?
Yeah, it's all the kind of catching the hot hand sometimes. it's really hard to predict those before the tournament. You can hit on a couple of them. I did not hit on the Wolfpack last year, but once they started to play well in the tournament, I kind of got on board. I managed to take them with the points in a couple of matchups, got some wins as well. So sometimes it's just a matter of saying, like, all right, this team is outperforming expectations, and it's not a fluke. They are built to perform well in this tournament, and I'm going to take them with the points if books keep giving them to me. And I think NC State had a pretty strong team last year. I mean, big reason why they're struggling this year is they lost so many of those guys. But it was a good team in the end, and it really made sense that they put on some great performances in March.
Rohit Ponnaiya, bettinganalystcovers.com. Rohit, before we let you go, I was just reading an article, and it kind of hits home here because NCAA is involved. There's a game or two under investigation for suspicious gambling activity.
Yes, sir.
As a betting analyst, like, how much of those ongoing investigations have you concerned, or how much of it has become a point of conversation amongst you and your colleagues?
I mean, it is definitely a major concern, especially when you're getting into things like player props, because as it is, a lot of books in a lot of states can't cover player props. And if you have any sort of suspicious activity going on there, it makes perfect sense. When you're talking about the NBA, I mean, these guys have a lot to lose if there's any sort of fixing or anything going on. But in college, there's a lot to gain from, people that might do that. So definitely something that concerns me. Hopefully things can stay clean because, if things stay clean, that's better for everyone involved.
Rohit, thank you very much for stopping by, and good luck with everything going on. I mean, I know March is going to be a busy time for you.
Mm-hmm. Thanks a lot. Best of luck, Tim.
Thank you. Once again, that's Rohit Ponnaiya, covers.com betting analyst, getting us set for all of our March picks and obviously only bet what you can lose, but I call them fun coupons. There's a lot of games that are going to be played, and the reason why I say that is, if there's a game on television and you're going to sit down and watch it, you don't have a quote-unquote horse in the race. I don't know, put a player prop down and get really excited every time the big man from McNeese State catches a lob, and it's like, all right, that's two more for my guy.
I mean, it's funny. You put like, all right, here's like 50 cents.
Yeah,
it's kind of fun.
Gives you something to root for.
Exactly. It's a little bit more invested. It's interesting you brought up the question though about, are these games that people do bet on, like, is it clean? Mm-hmm. For lack of a better term, that's always a big concern. It's like, well, I don't want to bet on something if I know it's rigged.
Unless I know it. No, I'm kidding. Kidding.
Just kidding.
No, I mean, it's the best. I say it all the time. The two things that make sports perfect is you can't script them, and they're completely fair, right? It doesn't matter if you're tall, short, you put in the basket more, you're going to win the game. If you take one of those two away, sports become real skewed.
It's interesting how you brought up, though, we're seeing the trend, obviously, in college basketball further about a lot of teams shooting threes, but if you can't play defense well, if your three-point shooting is off, then you're kind of cooked. I think you mentioned about the odds for Duke is that Duke doesn't rely heavily on three-point shooting, but we also know their defense is really, really good. So they're going to be in every single game.
It is crazy. And I'm not saying this is a knock on Duke. I'm not saying this is not a knock on Rohit, who we just talked to. It's wild that a team could be minus 400 to win the entire national championship, to go all the way through. And he's going like, there's still value there. There's still there's still something there, because it's almost, I say it all the time, it's almost always better to take the field against any one team in those situations. It just shows how much everybody believes in the Duke Blue Devils this year. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You'll have to stick around to find out if any Duke Blue Devils made the Dean's List, our honor roll today. Even without playing yesterday, you'll have to stick around. But first, here's our very own Dennis Cox with something for you.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Folks, your time's running out. Your time is running out to go to caniacsbike.com to enter to win a custom Caniacs motorcycle. For the fourth year, the Carolina Hurricanes, Law Tigers, Tobacco Road, Harley-Davidson, and Shiny Side Paint are all teaming up again to give one lucky fan a motorcycle. But this time it's a custom Caniacs motorcycle, because it's a custom-built motorcycle by Tobacco Road, Harley-Davidson. It is a custom-painted motorcycle by Shiny Side Paint. Not just a bike where they slap some stickers on it. No. This isn't other professional franchises. This one's doing it the right way. That's why you get to caniacsbike.com. Check out the bike. It's beautiful. Again, custom painted, custom built, white wall tires. It can be yours, folks. go to caniacsbike.com. Deadline to enter is April 6th, which is here before you know it, folks. We're actually almost in March, believe it or not. caniacsbike.com. Bike will be given away on the ice at the last home game of the year. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. North Carolina beat Florida State last night. We've talked big picture for the Tar Heels. We'll talk last night's game when we come back, and we hit the Dean's List. Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
You know, the need for John Shire's Duke Blue Devils team to roll white hot into the ACC tournament and blow through the bracket is clearly evident. The selection committee is only putting in 4 teams and suggesting Duke might not even be a number 1 seed. I'm not sure what more they can do at this point to grab respect. I suppose juggle flaming swords?
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
At Wells Fargo, we know what got you into your business. Whether it's manufacturing, running a restaurant, or your business from home. What you didn't get into your business for was banking. But luckily, Wells Fargo offers business checking, payments, and lending all in one place, in your neighborhood and on our app, so you can focus on doing what you love. Wells Fargo, you're good at business, we're good at business banking. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/business. Terms apply. Wells Fargo Bank and a member FDIC.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Is that a new Samsung Galaxy A15 5G?
Yeah, I got it for free when I joined Cricket Nation.
Sounds pretty great.
At Cricket, anyone can get a new phone when they switch.
Whoa.
With a high-quality camera, meaning more flattering selfies for all. And super fast 5G, so you can post them for all to see. Your friends, your family, your ex. Free phone! Free phone!
Okay, I'll switch.
Welcome to Cricket Nation.
Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. Must bring your number to Cricket on a $60 a month voice plan. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Fees, terms, and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What? You expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Mile-long three by R.J. Davis reins it in over the challenge of Watkins.
Doesn't matter. Davis just a little sidestep to his left, knocks it over Watkins' hand. Great shot.
Tar Heels tie it up at 34.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Few things. First up, at 4:33, so we are about an hour away, Canes' first goal scorer predictions. It's been a while since we've had a Canes game on a show day.
It's been like 3 weeks almost.
Yeah, that whole Four Nations Cup thing took place. But we're back at it, which means today at 4:33, three of you will get the opportunity to win a sweet Apex Racing Lab gift card. All you have to do is call in when we prompt you, not now, when we prompt you in about an hour, with a player that you think will score the first goal of the game for tonight's game, Canes at Montreal, and in what period they will score it. So, for example, if this were 2006, you might say Eric Stahl in the first. You might say still Stahl in the first, but it'd be a different one here today. That's just an example, right? So get ready for that. That's coming up in about 1 hour from now. Right now, we have the Dean's List going on right now, so let's put class in session. This is where we highlight those in the sports world, those in the college sports world more specifically, that deserve a little accolade, that deserve some reward. Starting with, for today, R.J. Davis. Now, here's the interesting part about R.J. Davis being on the Dean's List. The Dean's List is not designed to honor R.J. Davis. The Dean's List is designed to go a little deeper than that. He's the defending ACC Player of the Year. This is supposed to highlight maybe role players that do something great, maybe somebody that plays above and beyond their skill level. But R.J. Davis has not had an easy run this year. And in their win over Florida State last night, R.J. Davis was 20, meaning 20 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. That's good. Not great for R.J. Davis. We've seen him have better games. What I loved was the efficiency. Only took him 9 shots to get to 20 points.
That's the thing that stood out most last night.
3 for 5 from 3. We've seen games where it's taken him 14 threes to get to 3 makes.
Against Virginia, he was 3 of 14 shooting.
3 of 5 from 3, 5 of 9 overall. And on top of that, they're playing a bit differently, so he's having to do more of the quote-unquote guard stuff because they're playing bigger small forwards, getting Drake Powell more minutes, and it's either him or Ian Jackson, him or Seth Trimble, him and Elliot Cadeau. So he's having to bring the ball up and do a few more things, and it worked. So credit to him for playing a little bit different role than we've seen so far this year and being more efficient in doing it. The next Dean's List member. This is partially because I want to see if I'm going crazy. Halftime and timeout challenge winners. Am I the only one who every single time I refresh my Twitter feed or I'm scrolling through a sports blog, I see somebody else winning like $10,000 at halftime of a random college basketball game?
Yes.
A-Rod. Did you see Alex Rodriguez was at a Bucknell game? And they said, hey, do you want to take a half-court shot? If you make it, some student will get $10,000. A-Rod drilled it and then went and celebrated with the Bucknell kid. Then I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool. Not a couple hours later, I refresh again. A Texas Tech student hit a full-court putt. So they putted it down the basketball court into a tiny little opening, and I don't even know what he was shooting for. I don't know what the prize was. But all of a sudden, he's celebrating with Patrick Mahomes, who apparently was there to watch the Texas Tech game, and he's jumping up and down, chest bumping this kid. And then and amongst others, a bunch of others have also made it. Did you see what happened at UMass?
No.
UMass had one of the challenges where it wasn't just a half-court shot. It was you had to make a layup, a free throw, a three-pointer, and a half-court shot, and they put like 30 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, UNC did something like this not too long ago, yeah.
Kid did it. Boom. Easy layup. Boom. Knocks down the free throw. Hits the 3. Grabs the ball. Jogs all the way back. Drills the half-court shot. They say his foot was on the line. And they aren't going to pay him. But you want the real crux of it all? Nobody told them that you couldn't put your foot on the line.
Ah.
So the insurance company, because usually you buy an insurance policy if they make it, the insurance is saying, no. Stepped on, we're not paying. They weren't going to – they tried to give him like a UMass fan basket with like jerseys and foam fingers and stuff instead of $10,000. And then they got shamed into giving him the $10,000.
Yeah, as they should.
Every time. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I feel like Like RJ Davis shot 5 of 9 from 3 or from the field last night. It seems like half-court shots from random people in the student section are hitting like better percentages than that.
I know. I went to the game against UNC was at home against Stanford, and there's a student that did the layup, free throw, three-pointer, half-court shot, and by each shot you made, you got more. It was like a gift card to a business, and he clearly passed the 30 seconds. But he said, you know what? I don't care. I'm taking the half-court shot anyway. Takes it, drills it. And everyone's like, come on, give it to him. Give it to him. So they kind of like met him in the middle, I guess you can say, just because, you know. Like, all right, you did make the shot. We'll give you a little something here. But he clearly was after the 30 seconds. But it was still like, again, a cool moment. I was like, that's awesome for that guy. Everyone's more excited for that play than anything that happened on the court that day.
It just seems like it's happening a ton this year. And I don't know if maybe I'm just more aware of it or the algorithm thinks I want to see them, but like $10,000 changes your life in college.
Oh, yeah.
It's like tuition.
It changed my life now.
Who are you telling? Last member of the Dean's List. College football teams that are still having spring games.
There you go.
And opening them to the fans and letting their fans enjoy a nice spring snack of football to hold them over until fall. NC State, and this was confirmed by head coach Dave Doran, has their entire 15-practice spring schedule will be closed to the public, and that includes no open spring game. And by the way, NC State's not the only one doing this. I'm seeing, Nebraska really got it started. A bunch of other power conference teams have done it. With the logic being you don't want to show your playbook. You want the extra practice. You don't want your players to essentially audition for the transfer portal. If you go have a good spring game and then you go say, I want to get out of here, you can use the spring game as tape. I disagree. This is one of those situations where you adapt. You don't take your ball and go home. You don't go, oh, if people want to leave in the transfer portal, we're not going to let you know if they're any good. Make it exciting. You know what? How about this? Make it exciting and charge $10 a ticket to go towards a collective to pay your players. You know what? How about this? You make it exciting in a way so you build the brand of the players rather than hide them. Because if you're hiding them from the transfer portal, guess who else you're hiding them from?
The public.
Local advertisers, local brands that are looking for endorsers. Like, oh, this guy had 100 yards receiving in the spring game. Maybe we want to give him $10,000 to make a couple appearances over the summer. Now guess what? That player's less likely to transfer. Now guess what? You're increasing the quality of their lives while on campus. I'm not saying you have to go out there and run like your 2-minute drill number one offense. I don't care if you run, dive and go routes all day. Run a vanilla offense. Don't blitz. Make it 7-on-7. Do something.
Yeah, do 7v7 flag. Have fun.
And auction off the ability to call plays for a drive.
Oh, yes.
Let fans go. Like, turn it into a thing. Don't think like, oh, I want to make this as similar to what we used to have. Look at it as how different can we make it that'll benefit us now. 2 highest bidders get to go out there and call plays. Give them real life Madden. You want to run a flea flicker on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down? I paid $10,000. I want flea flickers. Deal.
Power eye.
Yeah.
Line up.
Make it work.
Where's my fullback?
Make it fun. And if it, I always, obviously I played in spring games. It was at the University of Delaware, not nearly as big as what it would be for a school like NC State. But I remember our coaches, injured guys, weren't allowed to go sign autographs for the fans that were right behind us. And I'm going why now's the time to do that, right? If you're injured, you're not playing. If you're playing, obviously stay locked in on practice to get better, whatever. But if you're injured and you go over and make a kid's entire day and make a Delaware Blue Hen fan for life by scribbling your name on a program, spring games are about fans. It's about building your program into something more famous than it is now. Not blocking everybody out.
I know Texas said they're not having a spring game this year, and their reasoning for it was because they played in the SEC championship game, played multiple games in the college football playoff, and it was just like, you know what? maybe it's a little extra wear and tear on these guys, so maybe one less padded day or spring game. I'm like, you could, again, still in my mind, you could do something. Matt Rule at Nebraska, which I know you've covered that before, they sell that place out. They said, yeah, we don't want our guys being viewed for the transfer portal. I was like, again, there's still got to be something that you can do for your fans to engage with your fans. And like you said, as I told Graham last week, send the offering plates down the aisles if you got to for NIL. Whatever it is that you got to do.
Run it. We used to call them scrub scrimmages. Third string and lower on the depth chart. Get out there and play. Whatever, it's a thank you to fans.
Yes.
Give your starting quarterback the microphone. Let him be like the Jumbotron MC, just to give the fans a memory. Just do something cool. And I'm just spitballing here. No, these might be great ideas. These might be terrible ideas. But brainstorm. That's it for the Dean's List. I do try to keep the Dean's List positive. I understand that last one danced a little bit to the negative. Kind of got around that by saying the ones that will have spring games. So then I can rant for 5 minutes about the ones that aren't having spring games. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Class dismissed. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan.
You know it's a domino that's just falling.
As soon as one – because coaches don't like – there has to be someone looking bigger picture with the program because coaches, they're in a cocoon, right? This is a weird thing, but it stuck with me, so maybe it's a good way to describe it. This is when I was in middle school, and the quarterbacks I went to a school that was kindergarten through senior year, so it was out in Hawaii, whole thing. But the middle school quarterbacks got to go up and sit in the varsity quarterback meetings for like a day. And I'll never forget, we had a rival that was coming up like 3-4 games in the future. And coach said, we're going to run this play this week just so it's on film for our rival 3 weeks from now. And his exact wording was, because if we go to the bathroom to take a bleep, they're filming it. And he's like, they're sitting there going, oh, look at what hand he wipes with. And he did this whole like comedy bit that like obviously crushed with middle schoolers.
Of course.
Right? And I like, for some reason, that's always stuck with me where I'm going like, I understand coaches want to keep everything under wraps. And they don't want their offense to be, and NC State has 2 new coordinators and they want to keep everything. You play ECU first, okay? By the end of the first quarter, all your other opponents have enough on you to know what style of offense you run. They might not know your deep intricacies, but they can go back and watch what your coordinator was doing at previous stops. Like, it's not like you have a complete unknown here that you got from some other country that no one's ever seen before. YouTube, like, hey, this coordinator, what was he doing last year? You'll find it. So just keep it all under wraps. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's talk UNC basketball beating Florida State last night. UNC looked good, again, against Florida State. So we have the exact same question we had after their last win, and they're on a 4-game win streak, the win before that and the win before that, which is it the level of competition or is it UNC turning a corner? Now, they're doing it like they don't have a lot of really bad losses. So they're consistently beating the bottom of the bottom aside from a blemish or two. But the crazy part is earlier in the year when they were losing to every single quad 1 game they were facing, they were still beating the bad teams. So there's nothing that says right now they're playing any better basketball than then aside from the eye test. And I will give you this. The eye test does say they're playing better. You watch those close wins they had over bad teams in the non-conference schedule, and you watch a game like last night against Florida State, just the body language, like I said, the eye test, just watching the game, you go, this team is better than that team. How much so? I don't know if we're going to know till they play Duke in the season finale, the regular season finale. Hubert Davis, their head coach, who we learned today, signed a contract extension back in December that was agreed upon in July. That'll keep him tied to the program, at least contractually, through 2030. He talked about what areas he has seen the most growth from his team during this 4-game win streak.
We have cut down the discipline and detailed mistakes that we were making on both ends of the floor. You talked about us being able to take care of the basketball. I think one of the things offensively that we were struggling with for a while was turnovers and shot selection. I feel like that has come down dramatically. And then on the defensive end, we're getting stops. We're protecting the paint. We're rebounding the basketball. I mean, I don't know how many games we've out-rebounded an opponent. And so the only thing is we put them off the free throw line. If we could defend without fouling, we'd be in great shape. But just really proud of this group.
I think I would struggle to answer that question if I were Hubert. And I'm not saying he was all word salad there and none of it had any meaning. If you asked me what UNC has grown the most at in this win streak, I think I would have a hard time answering that because it's really hard to just say, like, 3 or 4 dudes are just playing better. And I think that's the biggest difference. I can't explain the perimeter rotation right now. Yesterday, we talked a boatload about how it seemed like they were kind of fading out Elliot Cadeau a little bit from being such a high minutes player because they wanted to get more size on the floor, and you couldn't really have R.J. Davis and Cadeau out there at the same time because they're both smaller. So if you wanted to get more size on the court, one of them had to come off, and we talked all this stuff about Elliot Cadeau not playing as much over the previous 2 or 3 games, and we broke it down that way. And then last night I'm watching, and it felt like Cadeau played the whole game. I know he didn't, but he did play more than every perimeter player other than R.J. Davis. He played more than Seth Trimble, who, by the way, played great. He played more than Drake Powell and Ian Jackson, both, the 2 stud freshmen that appeared to be growing at different times into, like, being focal points of this team. And while Cadeau played solid, there were also moments when I went, oh, that's why he was the one that was losing his minutes. The only way I can describe it is because the only time I've ever really seen it for a small pass-first point guard is they rondoed him. There were a few times he caught it on the perimeter, and his defender was flat-footed, feet and like heels on the in the paint, down by like the second notch above the block, and just flat-footed standing there looking at him like, if you're going to shoot it, shoot it. Coach told me we want you to take that shot. And Cadeau didn't a lot of times, right? Which shows where his confidence is in his 3. So he would just, pass it along and keep it moving. And I was watching going, all right, if you're trying to play a few bigger guys, you need to have space for them to operate, either down low or otherwise, and that means you need shooting on the floor. Seth Trimble's been shooting it better. We know Ian Jackson can shoot. R.J. Davis, even though he's struggled this year compared to last year, he can shoot. Now you have Withers knocking down threes. You have Washington knocking down threes. Cadeau's kind of, after starting hot shooting 3, he's the odd man out. Yet he played more minutes than anyone else on the perimeter not named R.J. Davis. So I can't explain what's going on in the perimeter rotation. I can't complain about it either because I've been saying for weeks that there are no bad ideas for UNC. They had to try something. So I can't be screaming that, and then they do something, and I go, I don't like it. Like, it worked last night. But if we're being honest, this is what I think it comes down to. Withers, Washington, and Lubin, when on the floor, are playing better. They're playing bigger. They're not getting pushed around as much. They're defending the rim better. They're knocking down their shots at a higher clip, especially the ones that put pressure on opposing teams' bigs, the stretch shots, the threes from big guys, the face-ups. They're just playing better. There's a great line or a great little back and forth. One of the very first Manning casts, which is where Peyton Manning and Eli Manning watch Monday Night Football like with you. It's on ESPN2, where they basically explained their most frustrating question from their playing days from the media was, you came out playing a lot better in the second half. What adjustments did you make at halftime? Because they're like, we don't make adjustments at halftime. You go inside, you use the bathroom, you grab like a orange slice or some Chex Mix. The coach walks by and goes, hey, we're going to get back to that post. It was there. And then he runs onto the field, and that's it. I feel, and they're like, but you can't say that at the media, right? You can't. What, you played much better in the second half, Peyton. What was the adjustment in the locker room? Nothing. We just played better in the second half. So you make something up, right? Well, we knew we were going to get back to the run, and then the play action could come off of that. So we really dug in with the offensive line and got back to our fundamentals, and you whatever.
There was a play we really liked, so we ran it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, one of our assistants saw that their corner was flat-footed, so we decided we were going to run by him. But that happened halfway through the second quarter. We just didn't get to it until after half. Like it's if you asked Hubert Davis, like, why are you playing better now? I don't think he could sit there and go, we got 3 guys that are just playing better basketball. They're making shots. They're the same shots, right? They're defending the rim better. They're in the same position that they were to defend the rim. They're just not fouling as much. We just got 4 guys that are playing more efficiently than they used to, and that right there, right, college basketball is a game of inches. The difference between winning by 6 and losing by 6 is like 2 fouls and 2 missed threes. We got a couple guys playing better. If they each make 1 play better each game, 2-possession win can turn into, or 2-possession loss can turn into a 2-possession win. But he can't say that. So instead, you heard that whole thing, right? Like, well, we're not making as many discipline errors, and we're doing this and we're doing that, and it's like, yeah, I think it's just players are playing better. And you know, for the radio business, that's not the best take to go off of, because I'm supposed to be sitting here diving into the psyche of the players and saying, well, they finally accepted their role, and the chemistry is together. It's like, nah, they just play better basketball. They just played better basketball. And that happens in every single sport. Pitcher goes out there and gives up 5 runs, and he's pulled, you know, after 2 1/3. Pitcher goes out there his next outing, and he's got a no-hitter through 7. What was the difference? I pitched better. Right? They actually do kind of just say, like, I don't know, I had better control of my off-speed stuff, and the fastball was dancing. They're basically just saying, I don't know, I was better today. Maybe we should adopt that more in sports. You're on a 4-game win streak, coach. What are you doing? Well, we're playing better basketball. Same shots, we're just making them. Same defensive assignments, they're just not getting blown by. We didn't change much.
I still don't think North Carolina was great defensively yesterday, though.
Now, I mean, Florida State isn't an offensive juggernaut by any stretch.
No, I mean, Florida State hit 50% of their three-pointers yesterday. The only thing that Florida State couldn't do was get second-chance points. They couldn't get an offensive rebounder and a putback to save their lives. That's the one thing they could not do yesterday. That was the difference in the game for me. I was like, this team's actually shooting pretty well. Florida State is. Again, a middle-of-the-pack ACC team.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, they're tall and they're built like trees, but it's what they are.
It did just seem like it was a game that UNC was able to keep control of.
Mm-hmm.
Every time there was a shot that felt, if Florida State makes this, they could go on a run, it would like rim out, right? It just for whatever reason, it was a day where UNC was getting the breaks, and you know, isn't it funny how the good teams always get lucky? Isn't it funny how the teams playing better, those breaks tend to go their way, and they're going the way of the Tar Heels right now.
And Florida State only had 4 offensive rebounds yesterday. We have to give credit to North Carolina, obviously, for rebounding, which is
part of going bigger.
Well, it's part of that too. But again, like a team like Florida State, where again, I think they're the second tallest team in the conference, right there, like an inch behind Duke.
They're the 4th tallest team in the country.
Yeah, massive team. So the fact that they're still able to out-rebound those guys is still pretty impressive.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Duke plays tonight, by the way. We'll get to that game later on. They're at Miami, which, I mean, Miami. Coach Shire can't say this, but if they win the game, which they should in the postgame, what'd you do well tonight? Oh, well, we scheduled Miami.
We showed up.
Yeah, they're at the bottom of the ACC for a reason. Their coach quit on them in the middle of the season. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have football at 4, in which we have audio from Dan Morgan, the GM of the Panthers, and Dave Canales, the head coach of the Panthers, who spoke to the media for the first time in a long time earlier today. We'll play that audio for you. But first, Dennis Cox.
Dennis Cox here for ESPN Bet Sportsbook. As football season has wound down, college basketball is gearing up. Fans are ready to see which teams will prove they are ready to shine in March and who will be seen in San Antonio. You can get in on all the action from tip-off to the final whistle at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Right now, new ESPN Bet Sportsbook customers can bet $10 to get $100 in bonus bets and unlock 30 days of ESPN Plus. Download the app and sign up with the promo code Radio100 to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Football at 4 and the audio from the Panthers leaders coming up next.
Caniacs, get ready for Iced Tea, a brand new podcast that gives you the behind-the-scenes stories from the Carolina Hurricanes. You watch the game back?
Yeah, all the time.
And are you hard on yourself?
Oh, God, yeah.
Any of the players ask for their crust off?
We do have one player that I cut the crust off and I individually wrap it for him.
Your name is on the Stanley Cup.
It's the best trophy in sports.
Follow Iced Tea with Megan LaMontagne in any podcast app or watch the show on YouTube.
Bonuses used to be everywhere. Boxes of cereal, a baker's dozen, airline upgrades, even without quadruple diamond platinum status. Life is better with the bonus. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery is adding bonus chances to multiply your win on Multiply the Cash scratch-offs. More chances than ever to win over $140 million in total prizes. Because everything is better with a bonus. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.31 to 4.86. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Such a gorgeous afternoon out there. Hopefully you can spare some time to get outside and soak it in. We'll see a high of 72 under sunny skies. Grab a jacket for the morning. We'll see a low tonight around 40, but another warm day tomorrow with a high of 70 under sunny skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 165 points to 43,626. Market update brought to you by Enbridge Gas, formerly Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas. Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas customers are now proudly served by Enbridge Gas. Looking forward to a bright future together. Learn more by visiting EnbridgeGas.com. Again, EnbridgeGas.com.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe to our YouTube, by the way. That same name, 99.9 The Fan. Look forward to interacting with many of you there. Comment on videos, subscribe, set up alerts, tell your friends, share. Anything else they should do while they watch the videos?
Certainly watch the videos, but join our YouTube live chat. Let us know who you think is going to score the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes.
We have first goal scorer predictions for the Canes coming up at 4:33. Prize will be on the line for some of you.
We actually have a few submissions already.
Beautiful. That's on our live stream, which you can watch the show every single day at the same time. We put it on YouTube on our live stream as well, just like you can listen to it on the radio. Only I can wave to you on YouTube. Big difference. Also, big difference today against yesterday, the day before, and the day before is those days before we did not have any comments from Dan Morgan and Dave Canales. Today, we do. The GM of the Panthers and the head coach of the Panthers are at the NFL Combine out there in Indianapolis, getting ready to scout this year's draft class, which, as it will be every year for the next foreseeable future for the Panthers. Big draft, have to hit the picks, have to get some value. They spoke to the media for the first time. I have yet to hear this audio. It all happened kind of after 2 o'clock, and with the show starting at 3, I had to get ready. So, Dennis, you have the audio. Set it up. Tell us what we have to hear.
Yes, so I got to sit down and listen to both of these. Let's actually start with Dan Morgan. A lot of people were frustrated at the end of the season. Not a lot of people, but a good amount of people were frustrated at the end of the year with Xavier Legette, the first-round pick, number 32 overall last year, the wide receiver out of South Carolina. Felt like he wasn't as explosive and as productive. Come to find out that he was dealing with some injuries, including a wrist injury, as well as a foot injury that he suffered during the season. And Dan Morgan actually provided an injury update on Xavier Legette.
Our doctors and his side evaluated that and felt like surgery wasn't needed. I think, he needs the offseason just to kind of heal up a little bit from the wrist perspective. From the foot perspective, he was having some discomfort in his foot pretty much all season. So we decided to do a little procedure on that. I think it's more of a short-term, in terms of recovery. I think it's more short-term, so he'll be running sooner than later, and he'll be ready to go.
First of all, you can take this 2 ways. One is, that's why he dropped the pass against the Eagles. He had a wrist injury, he had a foot injury. That's why he didn't have, 500 yards receiving. That's what. Or you can take it the other way and say, when they drafted Xavier Legette, we knew he was a project, right? He was a guy you drafted off of 1 year of production in college because he is big, tall, strong, and fast. Mm-hmm. He has all the measurables. With that comes, he has to develop that ball of clay, right? And it's he and the coaches and the development staff and whoever he works with away from the team have to mold that ball of clay into a NFL stud wide receiver. Last offseason, he was hurt during the offseason program quite a bit, and then he was hurt going into camp, and some soft tissue stuff, some tweaks, nothing major, but that's all time where that ball of clay was supposed to be molded into a guy that was ready to play. When he says it's a short-term deal, you hope it means he gets to have an offseason. He's the type of player that needs to have an offseason to reach the top of his potential. A tiny... I think I saw Tyreek Hill had some right. Everybody's talking at the combine. I think he had a small procedure of some kind. Mm-hmm. Significantly, like if he has to sit out 2 months in the off season and can't be out there running routes, I'm not super terrified of that if I'm a Dolphins fan. But a young guy that needs to develop, I think you need every single day. So you don't want to be an injury guy even if you're playing in the games if you're always injured in the off season because you can't improve as much. What else you have from the press conferences?
A lot of conversation about defense, and more defense. And Dan Morgan said, hey, the defense is going to be a point of emphasis, but the offense won't be overlooked.
It's pretty obvious that we need help on the defensive side of the ball, whether up front, at safety, at corner. There's a lot of holes to fill there, a lot of work ahead for us. I think defense is definitely a point of emphasis, but we're also not going to neglect the offensive side of the ball either. So we're going to try to get the best players in here and create competition and just do it that way.
You know what? I really like Dan Morgan as a GM. He's brought me around. I wasn't the most sold when they announced him as the guy simply because he was part of the previous regime. But I like what he's done. So I'm that's all turned around. I don't know if he's a great actor, right? Because a GM, you got to not let anybody see your cards, right? Oh yeah, we know that we have to fix the defense, but we could go offense. You don't know that we're not definitely going defense. I might go offense. If you're out there and you need a quarterback, you better trade up with us to take him. We might take him. It's like, okay, they're definitely not taking it. The more and more people seem to sour on Teteroa McMillan. He's falling according to the experts, right? And I'm not an insider. I can have my own evaluations, but the more and more he falls, the less likely I think there's an offensive player for them to take at number 8. But they don't want anybody to know that, right? So we understand that our defense was not very good last year. We understand that they didn't give us a chance to win very often. We know that this is a very strong defensive draft, and there's a lot of guys that we're interested in with the 8th pick. But we could go offense. Yeah, we could go offense. That's kind of what I heard just now from Dan Morgan.
Well, we could go offense. We could go defense. We might go both. I don't know.
We could trade up. We could trade back.
We just stay right where we are.
We might not take anybody. You never know. Ooh, mysterious. It's like, all right, so you're taking a defensive player, which it's fair. And by the way, other teams are going to do that game where all right, if we were them, what would we be thinking? Everybody's going to try to predict what you're going to do, and it's not going to take long when they're like, all right, let's put ourselves in the Panthers' shoes to go, yeah, I'd probably take an edge rusher. Like they're going to get there regardless. So, it's cat's out of the bag.
Dan Morgan continued to talk about the need to build up the front on the defensive side.
Both sides of the ball, you have to win the line of scrimmage. You have to be bigger, you have to be tougher, you have to be more physical, and that's what we're looking to do around here. We're looking to build that defensive line like we built the offensive line last season, give the fans a good product on the field, give all of us a good product on the field. And we're excited. We're excited about the guys in free agency. We're excited about the guys in the draft. And we think we can fill some of those holes.
Build the defensive line like you built the offensive line last offseason. $150 million on the interior? Is that what we're talking about? Or I guess here's what I would say. They have a jump start. They already have their Robert Hunt, right? Because Robert Hunt to me was, one of the massive changes from 2 years ago to last year. They gave him $100 million over 5 years. He was an interior offensive lineman, guard. Derek Brown coming back is Robert Hunt. So you go grab another interior defensive lineman, free agency, top of draft. There's Damian Lewis. Right? Then you're building the defensive line the same way you built the offensive line last year. I don't think you have Inikia Kwanu and Taylor Moton on the roster yet, so you'll have to also add some edge rushers. But having Derek Brown coming back from injury, like we talk about that in season. When a player gets hurt in preseason and comes back around the trade deadline, we're like, well, it's like they made a big trade to get a player back. Derek Brown didn't play darn near at all this year. So it's like they just signed the best interior defensive lineman in free agency to join their team next year because he's just hopefully 100% healthy by week 1.
Right when his contract extension kicks in.
Exactly.
Perfect timing for it.
Better play up to it.
So there's also questions about the roster and the changeover it needs because it was actually one of the older rosters in the NFL last year. And Dan Morgan talked about, yes, still want to find that young talent, but you got to balance it out with the right veterans as well.
We do like young guys. It's not going to sway us one way or another, but it is nice to have young guys that, can grow and develop, especially on a team that's building a locker room, building a culture, and building a team. So it's nice to have some of those young guys, but you also have to mix in some of these veterans too, just to kind of show these guys the way.
Yeah, I think most GMs would go there. I also think even veteran teams, there's a mixture because the old guys, you get a couple straight out of college, they're going to keep you young. But the older guys, if you have a mostly young team, they're going to be the wise sage in the corner, making sure that they are doing things the right way because, young guys are knuckleheads. You can say that because, most of us used to be one. It's a mixture. I will say they moved on from Shaq Thompson. That's like a legit wise old sage in the corner of the locker room. So guys like Taylor Moton, who's already been a vocal presence as a leader, and a few others are going to have to maybe grow into that role a little bit more. But I like the way the roster is configured as far as age right now. Get them younger. Adam Thielen would be an exceptionally wise old sage for the offense.
Yeah, he and Andy Dalton both.
And Andy Dalton back.
Good old Andy.
Andy Dalton back. back up, and he's back. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's audio from Dan Morgan, GM of the Panthers. We still have some Dave Canales audio that we will get to later in the show. Speaking of what we're going to get to later in the show, Canes' first goal scorer predictions are about 22 minutes away. So if you haven't done so already, start thinking about who you think will score the first goal for the Canes and in what period they will score that goal, because it could win you a prize. Coming up in about 4:33. Be ready for that. We also have ladder challenge, copper drop, and more. Stick around.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Svechnikov, tick-tack, tied in Carolina on the man advantage.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Save made, rebound! Game over! Sebastian Aho gives Carolina a 4-3 win in overtime!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Is that a new Samsung Galaxy A15 5G?
Yeah, I got it for free when I joined Cricket Nation.
Sounds pretty great.
At Cricket, anyone can get a new phone when they switch.
Whoa.
With a high-quality camera, meaning more flattering selfies for all, and super fast 5G, so you can post them for all to see. Your friends, your family, your ex. Free phone! Free phone!
Okay, I'll switch.
Welcome to Cricket Nation.
Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. Must bring your number to Cricket on a $60 a month voice plan. First month service charge and tax to its sale. Fees, terms, and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
We all want more for North Carolina. More boundless views, more adventures in the outdoors, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Make it your nature to trash your trash and keep NC clean. And we'll all have more reasons to love North Carolina. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, a part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina in cooperation with this station.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Hello, Creighton Blackwell here from Coastal Credit Union and 99.9 The Fan. Tonight we are at Green Level High School, and we're here to celebrate the newest Scholar Athlete of the Month, Lexi Taylor.
My family is definitely like my biggest support through everything. My sister and my parents both support me through my hardest days and my best days, and they're always there to support me.
Lexi's a phenomenal athlete, comfortable with whatever you ask her to do. She's strong, she's poised, she doesn't get flustered easily.
And she's just like grown up so much as like a captain and a teammate, and she's been a captain now for 2 years, and I really just think she's been like such a great help to our team.
Well, I've been cheering with her since 7th grade and we're seniors now. So I've kind of like watched Lexi like grow up, I feel like, and she's like done the same with me. So I've like seen her like step into a leadership role, and I feel like she's just always super encouraging and keeps a positive attitude.
It means a lot to me to just be able to be recognized in such like a wide area with so many amazing athletes. So I just feel great to like feel like someone's like seeing all the hard work that I've been putting into my sport and my academics. So I'm very grateful for it.
Congratulations, Lexi.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Coach Hetkoff with the poke check, taking it away from Domi. That was timed perfectly, and he got just enough. Now McMahon with it. That'll be knocked away. Blake, he scoots out of the Kane zone.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis, I have some bad news.
Okay.
Ian Jackson did not score 8 points yesterday.
Sorry, who's the bad news for?
For, I would say, the legions of people that tail my picks in the ladder challenge.
Oh.
And I have to put my hand up on this one. Normally when I get a ladder challenge pick wrong, there's someone I'm frustrated with, I'm mad at. This one's all me. I'm dumb.
Okay.
Trying to predict what UNC basketball is going to do this season, it's a fool's errand.
It's a tough one.
It's a fool's errand. Thought the perimeter guys were going to be given more opportunities. I was right, just the wrong perimeter guys. You want to know what's the real sad part?
What's that?
Watching the game, about 8 minutes left in the first half. Ian Jackson already has 5 points. Caught it, put up a 3. I was like, all right, there it is. Got it. Clank off the rim. All right, that's fine. I'm not worried. 5 points. Still some. Didn't score again. Didn't even play much. It's my fault. It's my fault. Hand up. Lost. So instead of having whatever it was, almost $28, I'm back down to 10.
Chalk it up to the game, man.
It's not the game's fault. It's my fault. Sometimes you hate the game. Sometimes you hate the player. This one's on me. I apologize. But I assume, based on your lack of empathy, that your bet did win yesterday. Yep.
Yeah, it did.
So you're in the lead. Go ahead and lead us off.
So, yes, my bet yesterday was the LA Kings taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. I just need over 3.5 goals scored. Vegas scored 2. Kings scored 5. So they gave me more than enough. So I'm actually up to $27.90, Tim.
It's what I would have been if I got it right.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah, there's no excuse.
I'm going to go Calgary Flames at the Washington Capitals tonight. Pretty simple. Alternate goal total over 3.5. It's a minus 825. I just got to, pretty much just keep this one safe. Is all I need to do. That's $27.90 will turn into a nice stack of $32.50. Actually, I'm sorry, take that back. $31.20. My apologies.
So now that I've gotten in this situation, I can actually take bets that are maybe not as because when we were so close, I kind of hug minus 500 because I knew that we were going to be going back and forth. Now we can take ones that are a little bit more aggressive. So actually, I'm not even allowed to because the spread doesn't move as much as I wanted to. I'm going Duke minus 13.5.
Okay.
Against Miami tonight. The spread is up to 23.5 as it stands right now, so I'm teasing that down a full 10 points, which would make it a minus 560 bet. And thus, as I get ready to place it here, my $10 will turn into $11.78 once it hits. Duke, we just saw what they did to Illinois. I don't think Miami is better than Illinois, so there you go. That's all the logic I'm putting into it. Duke tonight, minus 13.5 over Miami.
There it is.
I'm a downtrodden gambler. No, only bet what you can lose, so it doesn't actually hurt. You can play up the dramatics, though. You know what I mean? How about we jump into Copper Drop? That's always more fun.
You want true enlightenment? Well, I'm dropping.
Here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Copper Drop. It's a simple game. Dennis sets them up, and I say whether we're copping or dropping. Dennis, take it away.
All right, North Carolina hired a general manager for their men's basketball team. Cop or drop? We'll see NC State hire a general manager this coming offseason. Cop or drop? For men's basketball, that is.
I'm copping, and they should have done it already. I've noticed this, okay, and I got into an argument with somebody on social media. Dangerous place to tango, because they basically were saying that I treat NC State with too much like reverence, saying they're not this, they're not in the same category as that. They should be happy to get one great run every X amount of years. NC State is one of, darn near a dozen, I think it's 14, schools across the entire country with multiple national championships. Now, granted, they were a long time ago, but national championships are national championships. And part of it is what's the saying? Which is ironic because in radio you don't really have to do this. Don't dress for the job you have, dress for the job you want. Right? That's I
do that every day.
Yeah, it's like, well, in radio, we're always kind of comfortable. Don't act like the program you are. Act like the program you think you should be, right? If you're NC State, get to a point where a Final Four run isn't, oh my God, this is the coolest thing in my life. get to the point where a Final Four run is closer to expectations. But the only way you do that is by acting like a team that has those standards set. And that means spending the money where you have to spend the money. That means getting the staff in place that you have to get in place, like GMs and director of recruiting and director of marketing and all of these other things. So put together the infrastructure that you need to be successful. Go do it. By the way, the most surprising team with double-digit multiple national championships? San Francisco.
Hey, there you go.
The Dons. Shout out to Bill Russell. Anyway, keep going.
I bet that helped.
Yeah.
All right.
I think he had 5 million rebounds that year.
Cop or drop. We just heard a little bit from Dan Morgan, general manager of the Carolina Panthers, just a little bit ago. Spoke with the media earlier today at the NFL Combine. Cop or drop. The Carolina Panthers trade back from the 8th pick. Cop or drop?
Drop. I'm dropping for this reason. Dan Morgan doesn't seem like somebody that's gonna force it. Okay? And I think that's the only way you trade back in this draft. Granted, the best part, meaning from an entertainment standpoint, with being somewhere around the 8th pick, is you do have to react. So if Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders go on a slide, which we've seen quarterbacks do, then I think the chances of them trading back become much greater than usual. If maybe an offensive lineman, a tackle, a Will Campbell, somebody falls further than they believe and he's available there at 8, maybe there's a trade. But if it kind of goes chalk the way most expect the draft to go, and the last quarterback is taken at the basement of 6 to the Raiders of the two studs, then I just don't see anybody willing to pay a premium price to go up to number 8. And if you're the Panthers, there's really good defensive players on the board. It's not a loss to just take the premium player off the board at number 8. So assuming things aren't crazy on draft day and there's no fireworks that you have to kind of react to and pivot, I think they'll stick and pick.
Okay, next one. Cop or drop? Carolina Hurricanes trade deadline is on Friday next week, March 7th. That's Friday next week.
It's very fast.
Cop or drop? The Carolina Hurricanes will have a long-term contract extension with Mikko Rantanen done before the trade deadline. Cop or drop?
It's a great question. I'm dropping it. But I think there will be enough progress between the two behind closed doors, because that's really all it takes, is to be moving in the right direction. We've all, in a billion different, whether it's in your job, whether it's when you're trying to buy a car, I don't know if you're into collecting Pokemon cards. Whatever you do, you've all been in negotiations, right? You know what it feels like to be in a warm negotiation where you're both trying to get to a place where it works, and you know what it feels like to be in a cold negotiation where you realize this person across from me is not going to work with me on this, right? And I have the choice to meet whatever their demands are, or there's a give and take. I think there's going to be warm negotiations. Now, part of this is just a gut feeling. Part of this is just kind of, trying to read the temperature in the room. If it's a cold negotiation, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, I don't even want to utter these words because I know that the Canes Twitter is going to go crazy. If you're met with like a stone wall in negotiations, you do consider moving Mikko before the trade deadline. If you think there's a better than 90% chance you're going to lose him in free agency, you consider moving him for someone that you might be able to extend. But if it's a warm negotiation, you're completely comfortable continuing those extension talks beyond the trade deadline and into the future. So that's how I think it's going to play. They'll get a warm enough feeling that they'll have confidence they can re-sign him, but it won't be done by the 7th, which is next Friday. Is that what you said?
Week and a half away.
It's because February is short. It's like you get a jump on March. By the way, talking Canes, we have first goal scorer predictions coming up in a few minutes. So start thinking, if you haven't done so already, who's going to score the first goal for the Canes and in what period.
Okay, that's at 4:33. But until then, cop or drop, the Carolina Hurricanes will make another trade for the trade deadline this coming Friday. Cop or drop?
Cop.
Or next Friday, I should say.
I'm copping because, to Tulsky seems like a wheeler dealer, baby. And I still think there's ways that this roster can be improved. The more data points, I don't know how to pronounce it, the more points of information and statistics they gain, I believe the more they'll know what they're looking for. I don't think, I've said this a few times, I always get caught saying it. I don't think it'll be as big of a splash as when they traded for Mikko Rantanen.
Probably not.
Which you could argue is the biggest in-season splash of the last couple decades. I don't think it'll be that big, but I think there's some depth you could get maybe at center. I think there's always the goalie possibility, although I think that's less likely by the day. And there's just depth places that they can work on. So yeah, I think there will be one more, maybe two more moves, but nothing that we're gonna slam the brakes on and go, oh my goodness, the whole season is different. More just polishing and fine tuning.
All right, next one here on cop or drop. Let's go to college basketball.
Let's do it.
2 ACC men's basketball teams from the state of North Carolina will make the NCAA tournament. Cop or drop?
All right, say this again. So I know, is it the three? Is it just the triangle?
ACC men's basketball teams in the state of North Carolina.
So we're getting Wake.
Yep. 2 will make the NCAA tournament.
Copping. I think there's 3, and we did this yesterday. There's an article on ESPN.com that basically gives 100% chance to make the tournament to Duke, Clemson, and Louisville. Just talking ACC as a whole. Then there's the next group, and there's really 3 there, which are UNC, Wake Forest, and SMU. I think 1 or 2 of them get in. So just chances are, if 1 get in, there's a 2/3 chance that it's going to be UNC or Wake. And if 2 get in, a better chance that at least 1 of UNC and Wake get in. So I think it comes down to who plays best in the ACC tournament, assuming that they take care of business against the also-rans in the next couple of weeks, and they'll be set up to have some runs. I don't think Clemson and Louisville, or Duke for that matter, we saw them lose to Clemson, but I definitely don't think Clemson and Louisville are any kind of unbeatable Goliaths in the tournament.
No.
And I think UNC and or Wake, those wins would be huge if you can get them in the ACC tournament. So if you can knock off a Louisville or a Clemson, that helps a ton. So I think those opportunities will be there for them in the tourney.
Okay. Cop or drop? North Carolina, UNC, men's basketball, will get to the semifinals. So Friday of the ACC tournament. Cop or drop?
Oh, it's so tough to say that without seeing the bracket.
Right now they're 6, so they will probably play Louisville if they get past Wednesday. But if they're the 5, they will likely play Wake Forest.
I'm going to drop it. If you just look at this year, they don't beat the upper crust teams that they face, the quad 1 teams, if you will. Until they prove me wrong, I'm going to have to just go by, it's one of my favorite sayings. I got to kind of live by it. The best indicator of future results are past results. So, what you've been doing is what's the best indicator of what you're going to do. And they haven't been winning the bigger games in their past. So, while I think it's possible, if you're going to make me choose, 51% they don't make it and 49% they do, which is a cop-out way of copper dropping.
All right, that is a cop-out way of doing it. But
I did pick one. Don't get me wrong.
No, you did. So you're thinking that they win Wednesday of the ACC tournament, but they don't win on Thursday.
I think
they win one
there's
game
a
in the tournament.
better chance they lose Wednesday or Thursday than winning both Wednesday and Thursday.
It's fair. Yeah, odds are on your side.
Which is, again, it's a cop-out. And I'm not even super confident in what I'm saying. I'm just, if you make me choose, that's what I'm going to roll with.
All right. Cop or drop? Cooper Flagg wins National Player of the Year. Cop or drop?
I'm copping. For part of the reason being, I think voters are humans, and they can get caught up in hype like everybody else. It shouldn't matter, but the fact that Cooper Flagg started the year 17 years old, and John I. Broome has been in college basketball for almost half a decade. In the structure of the award, that shouldn't matter, right? It should just go to the best player regardless. But there's something cool about a freshman being that good. John Broom being the big man from Auburn, who is kind of the co-leader to be all the national players of the year with Cooper Flagg. I actually just saw, let me see if I can find it real quick. This is, all right, here it is. It comes from Yahoo Sports, so shout out to Yahoo Sports.
Okay.
The average age of Auburn's starting five is 23.2 years old.
23.2?
That's the average age of Auburn's starting five.
That's past college.
The average age of the Oklahoma City Thunder's starting five, which is one of the best teams in the NBA, 24.4.
So 1 year older.
Essentially 1 year is the difference between Auburn's starting five and the Thunder's starting five. I think when you really think about it, it's tough to give a player of the year to a player who's in that environment versus Cooper Flagg, who reclassified up and should be getting ready for like his high school homecoming dance or prom, and instead is competing with the best of the best in college basketball. Again, it shouldn't matter, but it's a narrative thing. I think it will. I think Cooper Flagg wins player of the year.
Yeah, Broom is in his 5th year of college, and like you mentioned, Cooper Flagg is supposed to be a senior in high school.
Now, again, who's the better player is really the only question that gets answered in those. But as a voter, how do you not go like, that one's cooler than that one, right?
It's a close race. It's a really close race. All right, real quick one. We got about 30 seconds here before we start getting people for first goal score. Copper drop. Duke makes it to the Final Four. Men's basketball. Copper drop.
I think this is one of the situations where it's always better to take the field. However, Duke was my national championship pick before the season. And I'm just going to stick to my guns and say Cop.
Easy enough.
I'm just going to stick to my guns and say Cop. But if I were like gambling on it, I would probably take the field, right? It's kind of always better gamble. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's Cop or Drop. In 15 seconds, we will be opening up the Heister Automotive Group hotline for Canes' first goal scorer predictions. We need 3 of you to join us on air and predict who will score the first goal for the Canes and in what period they will score it. If you get both of those correct, you get an Apex Racing Lab gift certificate. So we will open up the phone lines, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 right now for Canes' first goal scorer predictions. And as everybody calls in, get your picks ready. Dennis will answer those phone calls. I'll let you know how awesome the Apex Racing Lab experience is. The ultimate sim racing experience is at Apex Racing Lab. Rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Experience the ultimate thrill with 20 cutting-edge simulators, expert instructors, and world-class virtual tracks. Located in Cary's McGregor Village in Greater Raleigh, visit Apex Racing Lab today and unleash your racing passion. Learn more at apexracinglab.com. Once again, that's Apex Racing Lab. As we fill up the phone lines here, I do want to remind everybody else, if you do not make it through as one of our 3 official contestants, you can still play for bragging rights by heading to our YouTube live stream. Go to YouTube, search 99.9 The Fan. We live stream our show every single day on the 99.9 The Fan YouTube channel. If you go into the comments, you can leave a player, whoever you want it to be, and a period, whatever period you think they will score the first goal. And if you get it correct, you get bragging rights. We appreciate everybody's participation, including our 3 official contestants who are now waiting on the line. It's the Heister Automotive Group hotline. We go to Brian in Holly Springs. He is up first. Brian, who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period?
Give me Rantanen in the second period, and it's going to be off of a deflection.
Rantanen in the second off of a deflection. What makes you think that the slow start? Why not the first period?
I don't think that they've been good at all in the first period as of late.
Hard to argue with that, Brian. Hard to argue with that. Go ahead and stay on the line, and Dennis has some info he needs to grab from you. Yeah. It's not the most uplifting thought, but it's correct. We go to Chad in Hillsborough. Chad in Hillsborough, you're up next. Thanks for joining the show. Who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period?
I'm going to say Jarvie in the first to help light them up.
Jarvie in the first. Do you want to add, just for bragging rights' sake, right? Those are the 2 crucial points of information. Do you want to give us any more details? Is it a power play? Is it a deflection? What is it?
I'm going to say it's going to be 5-on-5 in the first, 3 to 4 minutes.
Love it. First 3 or 4 minutes. Perfect. We'll put you down, but go ahead and stay in the line. Dennis has some info he needs to grab from you. And finally, our last official contestant for Canes' first goal scorer predictions, Cole in Fayetteville. Cole, who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period?
I'm going to go Rantanen first period.
Rantanen first period. Why are you going with the Moose?
Well, I was going to go Jarvie first period, but I didn't get the opportunity.
All right, that's completely fair. That is the way the game plays, by the way. The first caller gets the first option, so that's the motivation to dial fast. But Cole, we appreciate you. We have you down for Mikko Rantanen in the first. Stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to grab from you. You know what? I don't change mine, by the way, right? I write them down beforehand, and I don't let the listeners impact me. But I do have Mikko Rantanen in the first. And as I say often, there is an element of, since I'm not eligible for a prize, right? I'm not eligible for the sweet gift certificate from Apex Racing Lab. I do sometimes use my prediction as I'm going to put this out into the universe, and hopefully it comes back to me positively. So Mikko Rantanen in the first is as much about, I think it would just cool the chatter a bit if he has a big game. So I'm trying to will it into existence. So even though we've had two callers both pick Mikko Rantanen, one in the first period, one in the second period, I'm going Mikko in the first, and I want it to be just like a classic Mikko Rantanen goal, right there off the wing. Setup. We saw they're messing around with the lines a little bit during morning skate. We'll talk about that later on. But whether it's a setup from Roslovic's fetch, whether it's he does end up skating with Aho, whether it's a power play and he could be out there with a whole bunch of guys that can set him up. I just want a nice, classic Mikko Rantanen game, multi-point, one goal, get it out of the way early so the peanut gallery can pipe down a bit, if you will, for how he's played since he's joined the Canes, and his head has been in a blender. We've talked about it, right? The trade, the travel, the Four Nations Cup, the flu that ran through the locker room, the everything, right? I had to get Roslovic a watch so he would give up the number that he wants to wear. There was just so much going on. I want Roslovic to have a nice cool out game where he puts up multiple points. So I'm going Mikko in the first.
Okay.
Dennis, you've now gained your information, so go ahead and give us your prediction or update us from YouTube if you'd like.
So actually, I'll throw some of the YouTube ones out there. Brandon says Aho in the first, but he has no confidence in the pick because the team has looked a little whack against the Leafs. Micah, our guy, said Roslovic gets the first goal in the first period, which I thought was a pretty interesting one.
Micah is the definition. He has my guys. He has guys that are like, these are my dudes.
Yeah.
Roslovic is one of his dudes. He's like, I'm picking Jack. That's my guy.
Also, we have from Mighty Mike, said he thinks we get a greasy goal from Eric Robinson with 3 minutes left to play in the first period. So that's our first goal.
I don't hate any of those. They're all decent opportunities.
Taylor Hall gets his first one as a Cane. Taylor Hall, first period on a 3-on-2 rush. Taylor Hall in the first period. That's my prediction. Taylor Hall gets his first as a Cane. Grab the puck.
Is any of that because he's skating with Aho?
Might be.
At least during morning skate.
We'll find out.
Those lines, they're dramatic.
Kelvin just said on our YouTube live chat, Stahl first period shorthanded.
I get very excited. I get stupid excited for shorthand opportunities.
Right?
Because you see the moment when they decide, I'm not just going to clear this, I'm going to go for it. Mm-hmm. And it becomes like, oh, they're going for a shorty. They're going, I turn into a 9-year-old when Jarvis is leaking out. I'm just like, oh, he's going for a shorty. Do it. So I hope you're right. I hope Stahl can pull it off. Actually, I hope Mikko Rantanen scores more than I hope Stahl scores. But hey, I'm not going to be picky. Goals are goals. They could both do it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is our first goal scorer predictions. If any of our official contestants get it right, both the player and the period, they will get a gift card to Apex Racing Lab. And I know it's been a while since we've been in the routine. We do that every single time there is a Canes game on a show day. So anytime they essentially have a weekday game and we have a show, we'll give you the opportunity to predict first goal scores. So, think about it. Get it going. Make it happen. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. For the first time, there is a change that is potentially coming to college sports that has me worried about the future of college sports. I'll tell you what that change could potentially be coming up.
The Adam Gold Show.
Their more pressing need to get this team across the line was never Mikko Rantanen. It was, man, we got to get better down the middle. We have to get better, more hard to play against in the middle of the ice. JT Miller, by the way, right now is playing third center for the Rangers. So to me, if this was about this year, it would have been JT Miller would have been the target.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What? You expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get a free rate quote with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown. Bailey is third of the night.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. There are a ton of changes that have happened in college sports over the last 5-10 years. And just about every single one of them, I was speaking into a microphone somewhere saying, I don't think this is really going to change much. Okay, players get paid. All right, after their football game, they're going to go back to a 3-bedroom apartment rather than the dorms. That doesn't change my outlook at all. All right, guys can transfer. Cool. We're still going to have the same teams. We're still going to have the same age players. They're still going to be out there fighting the same things they fought against. My Saturdays don't change in the fall, is what I often said. Like, show me a Saturday that I'm not sitting on a couch watching college football, enjoying myself. Well, for the first time, I can say there is a looming threat that is actually originating right here in the triangle. There is a looming threat that I think puts the NCAA and college sports on a slippery slope. And for the first time, if they lose this battle, I'll be concerned about the future of college sports. NC State cornerback Corey Coley Jr. filed a lawsuit in the Eastern District of North Carolina on Friday, February 6th. Sorry, on Friday. Period, end of sentence. On February 6th, the NCAA denied Coley's hardship waiver to retain eligibility for the 2025 season, the lawsuit states. Now, let me give you some background here. Coley played 2 seasons at Maryland and 2 seasons at NC State. He wants an additional year of eligibility after suffering a season-ending injury in NC State's 6th game of this past year. 6th. He played half a season. Everybody is aware that you can redshirt. You can use your redshirt year playing in up to 4 games. Other than that, you play a game, there's a year of eligibility. I truly believe one of the secret sauces, one of the secret ingredients that makes college sports what it is, more so than just about anything else, is eligibility. Is you have a ticking clock the moment you start playing. Coaches have to turn over their roster. There is a perpetual passing of the torch. Hope springs eternal at the beginning of every season because last year's season is not this year's season. The NCAA, according to the lawsuit, the NCAA's eligibility rules unjustifiably restrain competition. They fail to benefit college athletes like Coley who are enrolled or wish to be enrolled in college and whose services as a college football player in the relevant market are in demand and from which they can earn substantial NIL compensation. Now, here's the funny part. Whether Corey Coley plays or not, I don't think changes much. I watched all of NC State football. He didn't pop to me that often, right? He's not a future NFL guy. Like he's a player that's at NC State. The issue is if you let a guy play when he gets injured in the 6th game, you got injured in the 6th game, you get another year of eligibility. Well, what's the difference between the 6th and the 7th? If a court says you have to let him play after 6, can't you make all those same arguments when they get hurt in the 8th? In the 9th and the 10th, how soon before somebody sues and just says eligibility is illegal? You're preventing me from making money, and I would make a bunch if I could go back and play some more.
So currently in the NCAA, I don't know if it's changed over the last couple of years, but it used to be if you played less than 1/3 of your season and you were out due to injury because of that, you could be getting medical hardship. So they do have a line of that.
And football was always weird because if you took a red shirt for not an injury reason and then you tried to do it, the waivers. By the way, I'm always anti-NCAA in these cases. I've seen some of the most ridiculous decisions made by the NCAA involving hardship waivers.
Likewise.
And I have screamed and I have called them out and I've done everything I could. But you can't just say eligibility is gone. Like, there has to be a line somewhere. There has to be something. I played with a player who this is like you could play 4 games and keep a red shirt. There were no COVID years. My freshman and my sophomore year, I played with a guy that was in his 6th and 7th year of college. Called him Pops and or Unk. But he had blown out his knee like every year in training camp for like 3 or 4 consecutive years, and he kept getting hardship waivers. I'm okay with that. The issue is if you play a season and then just say, I want to go back, give me my eligibility, and the courts force the NCAA to do that, it is a slippery slope until suddenly you have a Sam Hartman, you have a Tim Tebow, you have somebody who is an excellent college football main contributor player whose game doesn't necessarily translate to being a great NFL player, recognize, I can make like $3 million a year to just keep doing this little racket, play 8-9 years of college football, make $3 million a year for the last 5, and manage it correctly and be set for life. And then we're sitting around, that's not what college sports are. That changes my Saturday. Part of college sports, and it might be a bit cynical, but I think it's actually us rooting for them to do the improbable, is seeing a freshman step to the free throw line with 6 seconds on the clock, down 2, on the road, raucous environment. This guy was in AP the U.S. history in high school 6 months ago. Like, that's part of it. and seeing how they react and seeing them grow and seeing how they can play. It's a part of it. The opportunities for the young guys they won't be there. Those roster spots are going to be taken up by 34-year-old we had him on the show, the UNC quarterback. He bounced around the NFL, bounced around the UFL. It's Bryn Renner. Like, Bryn Renner could still be at UNC. we wouldn't have gotten Howell. We wouldn't have gotten May. We wouldn't have gotten any of those guys because Bryn Renner was going into year 11. No disrespect to Bryn Renner. I wish I had unlimited eligibility, but I understand the system doesn't work if that happens. That, to me, is a bigger threat than paying players. It's a bigger threat than the transfer portal. It's a bigger threat than does the school get revenue share? It's a bigger threat than are you selling their jerseys? It's a bigger threat than coaching movement. It's a bigger threat than all of it. If you take away eligibility, it's not college sports anymore. It's a spring league, right? It's the XFL. It's the USFL. And those don't have the same secret sauce. If you retain eligibility after playing 6 games, I don't see how you stop it from being eligibility is illegal. And I'm not going to blame the courts because the courts have to just interpret whatever laws and regulations, whatever. I'm not going to go there. But if you take away the eligibility being limited, if you got guys getting their 7th major where they're getting like their med school covered because they're going into year 14 on the basketball team, it's not enough.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say that someone that's trying to get their master's degree and so their 6th year or wants to go for a postdoctoral, hey, I'm still a college student, why can't I play an intercollegiate sport? Why can't I?
I know guys that became graduate assistant coaches because they were on scholarship and they redshirted, so they started in their 5th year. They started a grad program and they wanted to finish it, but they obviously didn't want to have to pay for it. So they went and became grad assistant coaches, and crunched film until 2 a.m. and got coffee for all the coaches every morning, and then had the rest of their grad school paid for. Those guys would 100% be like, I'll still be a depth defensive tackle if that helps me finish out my MBA. And then you got an 18-year-old showing up on campus going, I'm never going to play. We got a 26-year-old that wants to go into finance out there, just crushing his master's degree, and he's going to take all my reps.
Here's something to keep in mind as well. We've already seen eligibility rules be challenged and changed when it comes to junior college players that are transferring to 4-year schools. So it used to be if you played a year at a JUCO, that counted as a year of NCAA eligibility, or 2 years counted as 2. The NCAA is no longer allowed to enforce that. So you could be 2 years of a junior college player, transfer to State, Carolina, Duke, whatever it might be, and still have 4 years of eligibility. So it's already been challenged and has already been changed in terms of eligibility. Again, who says the courts don't continue to act further regarding
that was
it?
the Vanderbilt quarterback that challenged that,
yes,
right?
It was.
I think that's just like a stay for now. I think they have a year like a protective order or whatever.
Well, I think they actually did change the rule, but they allowed junior college or players that are currently in college that played in junior college, they gave them an extra year of eligibility. So, like, for example, Marcus Hill at NC State has got an extra year.
I just want to be on the record. I'm nervous. They're getting close.
Yeah.
Right? We're playing Battleship.
Mm-hmm.
And they've struck like right near our ship like 6 times. And I'm going like they're gonna hit it. Right? They're challenging the JUCO eligibility. They're challenging the medical hardship eligibility. They're doing this eligibility in court. That at a certain point, if eligibility crumbles and suddenly you can play in college as long as you're taking classes, I will be extremely worried. Extremely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how would you like to watch Jahlil Okafor versus Armando Bacot in the season-ending Duke versus UNC game? That's what you would be getting, and you wouldn't have Cooper Flagg and Ian Jackson and these guys because Duke would have and UNC would have all their guys from years past. Crazy. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, absolutely crazy. And it's starting right here. It's a lawsuit starting with the NC State player. I don't want that to be the Triangle's legacy. The starting 5 is coming up next. We have the Canes tonight at Montreal. What do you want to see from Carolina. Stick around.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Kevin Keats and State basketball have to do something, and I'll tell you what that is. They have to acknowledge what is happening. This season, it's a failure. That's not to say each individual player isn't working harder. There's no likable people in the program. It's just that after last season, this season, it's not enough. And they have to figure out how to fix it for next season.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
You know what's fun about Ram Truck Month at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington? Nothing if it's not you behind the wheel of a brand new 2025 Ram 1500. With savings as much as $15,000 off a new 2025 Ram 1500, you can have all the fun driving this powerful, rugged truck built for work, play, and everything in between. So get off your keister and get to Heister today. Hurry to Ram Truck Month at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
A new game has landed in North Carolina. Officials are calling this new species of game Cash Pop. So easy to play, it's out of this world. Reports confirm you just pick and match one number to win up to $2,500. With 5 drawings every day, cash landings have been cited across the state. So be on the lookout for Cash Pop from the North Carolina Education Lottery. The wins are out there. Must be 18 to play. See Cash Pop prize and odds chart at nclottery.com for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Tom Kelly's carbon fiber mountain bike. Because more than riding his carbon fiber mountain bike, Tom loves telling people about his carbon fiber mountain bike. Friends, family, even a local barista knows about his carbon fiber mountain bike. And that's why Tom's carbon fiber mountain bike, if you haven't heard about it, is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
These days, it feels like everyone is talking about how the American dream of homeownership has become out of reach for so many of us. Well, Rocket is trying to give us more of a chance to own our homes. They're making homeownership simpler and more accessible to more people, turning renters into owners. Rocket believes that every one of us deserves a shot at the American dream. So, are you ready? Own the dream. Visit Rocket.com or call 800-4ROCKET.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays, feeling like April out there this afternoon. And we've got 2 more days of that before it starts to cool back down. 41 tonight, mostly clear, partly cloudy and breezy for your Wednesday, 72, 75 with showers possible Thursday.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell up 160 points to 43,421. Market update brought to you by Habitat for Humanity Restores. Habitat for Humanity Restores have a huge selection of high-quality building materials at a fraction of regular retail cost. Come shop and save on your next project. Find locations at trianglerestores.org.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The starting 5 here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly is brought to you by Ritchie Law. Injured? Richie Law is on top of it. RichieLaw.com. They bring you the starting five, and as always, the starting five starts with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Roslovic, Walker shot, he scores! From long distance, Sean Walker, his 100th NHL point, his second goal with the Canes.
Sometimes sports being unscripted and you can't predict it really rubs it in your face. So I'm going to read you the notes I took that I wanted to see from the Canes at Montreal tonight. I said today should be all about getting comfortable. Saturday night at Toronto off the break. That's the game that they had this past weekend. That's a heck of a start, right? That's an unusual game. You're up against Austin Matthews, and you had guys coming and going, didn't get much skate. That's crazy. But Montreal on a Tuesday, that's a better on-ramp to the rest of your season, right? That's a nice little just be comfortable. I wanted this to be a relaxing game. I wanted this to be a everybody chill out. I know there's opinions about everything in every direction, and there's Mikko Rantanen opinions here, and there's Sebastian Aho criticisms there, and you gave up 4 goals in the first snap of a fingers against Toronto, and everybody's got a thought on everything, and I wanted this game to relax. Right? I kept telling media and I kept telling fans about Mikko Rantanen, relax. You don't have to trade him right now. You can give him some time. He's been with the team for 7 games. And I didn't think I could say that to everybody else without also looking at the team and going, you got to chill out a little too. So that was that. I wrote all of that and the little bullet points that got me there this morning. Then I saw the lines that they skated with at morning skate, and I went, oh, Rod's kind of going the opposite, isn't he? He's not going with the hey, we're going to put you with a bunch of guys you're familiar with. He's going with the, hey, let's see if we can shake things up a bit here. For those of you that didn't see, and Walt Ruff, the team reporter for the Canes, was the first place I saw it, but a few different people have reported on it, said Rod Brind'Amour was, quote, trying some things out at morning skate in Montreal. Says the Canes aren't sure what they're going to do yet with their line combinations, but this is what they were skating in the in morning skate. Aho and Rantanen separated. Aho skating with Taylor Hall, the other new guy, and Jackson Blake, the rookie. The quote-unquote second line would be Roslovic at center, which is a little unusual. He does have that in his past, but with the Canes, not as much. Roslovic skating with Rantanen and Svechnikov, which... I mean, you have Rantanen and Svechnikov on a line. That's high-powered. That's skill sets.
Yeah.
Stahl, Jarvis, Martinuk. That's the Stahl
that
line.
Before?
They're like, what, are you guys confused? Are you guys shaking stuff up? Seems normal over here. And then the fourth line, Kotkaniemi with Jost and Robinson at the wingers. If they do that, which, again, they're not sure what they're going to – if they do that tonight against Montreal, that's kind of the opposite of what I was saying. Right, that's not like a, hey, give it time, everybody chill, right? Like a line with Aho and Rantanen is going to produce at some point. Just give it a little bit. That's the opposite. That's like, let's try something new. Let's see. Let's shake it up. Now, I am a believer in Rod Brind'Amour, as I think everybody should be. He has the track record. So I'm gonna wait it out, but I'm surprised if they go in that direction. Because it does, I do think there just needs to be hold on, let's see how it goes, right? Before we go in there and change a bunch of stuff, let's see if they can fix it on their own is kind of how I anticipated this going. Instead, they're just going to shake the heck out of the 3 non-Stahl lines. We have Rod Brind'Amour audio. I was just told in my headset, so let's go ahead and hear that.
Well, I think he's been good. It's just the puck hasn't gone in. If you watch every night, he's getting chances right in front of the net, and something happens, or he's setting up guys to where normally you'd put those in the back of the net. So I think the points will come because he's all around it. But we're still trying to kind of figure that out, the fit and who he plays best with. I mean, there's got to be some chemistry in here. We're looking for that, so we may try different things just to kind of see if there's a better fit for him. But at the end of the day, we know he's a great player.
Obviously, talking about Mikko Rantanen there. I kind of believe in the first part, right? He's getting high leverage chances. He's getting shots. They're going to find the back of the net. Kind of like, well, then you don't have to change things if he's getting all that. You just kind of give him time to catch a heater. With that being said, now that I've gone on this long soliloquy, it's definitely going to be Roslovic setting up Rantanen for 3 goals today, right? Just beautiful set pieces that end with Roslovic putting it on a platter for Rantanen on the wing.
And I won't complain.
Neither will I. I was wrong, and I am ecstatic about it.
Keep it locked in.
Yeah. Just like I said, everybody. Just like I said. Roslovic at center unlocks Mikko Rantanen. He's used to playing with McKinnon, thus Roslovic equals. That's sarcasm, please, sarcasm, if you didn't pick up on it. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Carolina quickly the other way with R.J. Davis to a trailing Jalen Washington. They leave him open. 4-3 from straight on.
UNC beat Florida State last night. 4th straight win. How about it, Tar Heels? You heard that 3 there from Washington. Withers, Washington, Lubin. Those are the 3. Those are the guys. And by the way, those are the guys that they were betting on preseason, right? When they didn't bring in a transfer portal center, when they didn't, turn it over to some kind of a true 7-footer incoming freshman. When Armando Bacot walked out of that program and they didn't do a 1-for-1 replace with another post player, they were looking at Withers, Washington, and Lubin, who did come out of the transfer portal, but is 6'8", isn't like a true back to the basket big. They looked at those guys and said, "You're good enough. You're enough of a big guy room that we can be successful." I think for most of the year, most of the fans have looked around and gone, that was a miscalculation. Turns out, needed some more bigs, needed a rim protector, need a little bit better rebounding. Over the last, I would say 3 games especially, but we'll include the Syracuse game because it started the win streak. Those 3 guys have played better. Those 3 guys have played more efficiently. There's been games where Withers hits 4 of 6 threes. Last night it wasn't that much volume, but both Withers and Washington knocked down 3-point shots. You just heard one of them. That's a way to combat an opposing team's size, is to say, cool, you got bigger players, we're going to pull them away from the bucket. And then the other thing you have to do is when you're on the defensive end, you have to limit second chance points. You have to limit extended possessions. And Dennis, I think it was you who pointed it out earlier today. That's what Florida State really struggled with.
Only 4 offensive rebounds.
And Florida State is the 4th tallest on average team in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So UNC, despite their lack of size, was finding a way to rebound defensively, and were able to use efficient play from their bigs on offense to take advantage of Florida State. That's really nice. If you can do it every game, that's really nice. You have to be able to do it against better teams. Florida State, for their size, is not a top-end ACC team this year, and it's a down ACC. But Hubert Davis, after the game, head coach, was happy with the team getting a win and pointed out short turnaround, right? Playing on a Monday, not the traditional schedule. Here's Hubert.
I told them anytime you play Saturday, Monday, and then you play Virginia and Florida State, 2 opposites in terms of detailed approach, and to be able to just one day in between travel and come here and get a win on the road against a tall, athletic Florida State team, I can't put into words how proud I am of this group.
Short turnarounds are similar to what we said about like Duke playing at MSG. Neutral court non-conference is like a rehearsal for the tournament. If North Carolina does make the tournament, which is far from a sure thing at the moment, short turnaround games are another way to prepare yourself for that, because obviously if you do make the NCAA tournament, it's Thursday, Saturday, or Friday, Sunday, and you're going to have to be able to get ready for a new opponent quickly. So things are good right now for North Carolina, but they have to continue to play as if they're on the edge of things very much not being good, because that's when they've started playing well. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
Ball stolen. Here's flag. Here comes Joe Tate. Wham! With the right hand. Cobra flag.
Duke playing tonight at Miami. To put it bluntly, and I'm talking records here. This isn't opinion. This is like you are what your record says you are. It's the best team in the ACC against the worst team in the ACC. Number 1 against number 18. So the spread indicates that. It's a 23.5 point spread right now. Duke's the favorite. Duke just mollywopped Illinois. And I think it's fair to say that Illinois, even with what they're dealing with, injury and illness, a team that's played better than Miami. Here's the Duke task for the night. Fight the off-court distractions. Jay Lucas is likely the next head coach at Miami. He is an assistant coach for Duke. Duke is playing at Miami tonight. That is like, if it was scripted, you'd say that's your assistant coach is going to take a head coaching job and we learn about it like 3 days before they play at the team that he's going to take the head coaching job. Really?
You think during shoot-around he's going to get a tour of, like, this is where your office is going to be. This is the equipment room.
Coach, why aren't you watching us warm up? Why are you watching them? Yeah, I was watching you. What are you talking about? I definitely wasn't making decisions on who I wanted to try to recruit to stay. And
I'm scouting.
Yeah. Which, by the way, John Shire did say it is a Lucas scout. Assistant coaches get assigned games like ahead of time so they can start scouting like 2-3 opponents ahead while other assistants handle the game plans for more upcoming games. He said Miami is a Jay Lucas scout game. So he's like, I was wondering this, if when he reports back to Shire, if his wording could like tip him off. Like, you know, they really need to go get a shooting guard. Did you mean they're vulnerable for us to attack them at shooting guard, or are you setting a shopping list for what they should do in the offseason?
Yes.
It's like, you know, they're like a big or two away from being a really good ACC team. Okay, what am I... Are you saying we should go to Common Malawash in the post?
Yes.
Or are you saying you're going to try to take one of our posts with you? Like, what's going on here?
You mean paint touches, right? Got it. Okay, paint touches.
Miami does have a couple good players. I like Matthew Cleveland. So it's not like they, they're a power conference ACC basketball team as well. Their guys are on scholarship. It's not a complete walkover. But they're not as good a basketball team as Duke is. So the challenge is, again, looking for things that can simulate postseason. During tournaments, what happens? There's off-the-court distractions, right? You got to worry about tickets for your family. You got to worry about travel. You got to worry about, as we saw with NC State, who went on our run last year, you're picking up NIL deals like every round of the tournament. And you got to, remember, it was Jack Golke, it was DJ Burns. They were filming like selfie commercials for brands in the hallway, like at the hotel, day before a game. You're handling all of that, but then, when you show up at warm-ups, you got to be locked in. Game like tonight, in the bus. Did you hear, Coach? Did you see what the reporter said? Coach Lucas might be going to Miami. Coach, once you show up for warm-ups, you got to put that out of your brain and you got to compartmentalize and go focus on the game. I think that's something they can kind of test themselves on today. If they have a good relationship with Coach Jay Lucas, there might be some jokes. Coach, it looks like a good restaurant to go. You'll have to let us know what it's like. Coach, this weather's pretty nice, huh? I got the Zillow app. It says there's a house right near campus. Might be nice. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. What number was that? That was number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us. I feel great about playing football right now.
Panthers. Dan Morgan and Dave Canales spoke to the media today. That's GM and head coach. They are at the Combine in Indianapolis. We played some audio earlier today from Dan Morgan. I thought it would be a good time to hear some audio from Dave Canales. Dennis, set us up. This is my first time hearing the audio, just along with all of you.
So Dave Canales was asked about being at the Combine now as a second-year head coach and how things are maybe a little bit different for him at the NFL Combine this year compared to last year being his first year on the job.
Time spent with Dan, with Brant. I feel the time spent with this team. I think coming in last year, it's off of a lot of film study. Just playing coaching against the Panthers, and then watching all those games and kind of, having a vision for what could potentially help us challenge our roster and take the next steps forward. But this year, really seeing guys day in and day out, really getting to know the personalities and seeing what fits, certainly from a football standpoint, football character, but then also our locker room, and who these guys are and what they stand for. So that really kind of helps sharpen my focus a little bit as I come in here.
I heard and if you listen to the show often enough, first of all, thank you for doing so. But I'm a big analogy guy. I heard an analogy I absolutely love. It came from Todd McShay, formerly ESPN, now The Ringer. He was talking about NFL off seasons, and he basically said for GMs, for coaches, NFL off seasons are like a really, really good chef cooking a meal. And what that means is each time you do it, you try something new. If it's good, you keep it. If it's not, you don't, right? So it's like, say you're making, I don't know, some very fancy, like the Bear show dish, right? You might put a little bit of bolognese. Might throw a little bit extra salt, a little bit extra garlic in there. If it works, cool. Next time, I'm going to keep the salt, I'm going to keep the garlic, and I'm going to also throw in some, I don't know, cumin. Right? And you're just going to keep experimenting, and it's going to keep getting better and better and better until eventually you make it and it's a masterpiece. And even then, you keep experimenting because you're a great chef and you know what goes well. So, I believe he used this talking about Eric DeCosta of the Ravens. Because Eric DeCosta, you ready for this? Eric DeCosta, GM, learned from Ozzie Newsome, very well-respected GM in the NFL. He said they have 124, different points of information that they put together for each player. One of them is Madden rating. He was, I bet you guys think that's crazy, right? They actually, on whatever database they keep their draft prospects, they keep Madden rating. And Todd McShay said, well, that's like, when you're making a dish and you're like, you know what? It's unusual, but should we go jalapenos in here? And you try it, and if it works, you keep it, right? If it's something that proves to improve your process, you keep it. So using that logic, last offseason was the first time Dan Morgan and Dave Canales had ever cooked up an offseason. This is the time where they're like, the way we looked at free agency was great, but the way we looked at the draft could be better. Or the way we looked at receivers, there was a flaw there. So let's fix that, but let's keep the way we looked at offensive line. Or, hey, you know what? We didn't really take in what the trainers and the medicals said about Jonathan Brooks and Xavier Legette enough. Now we need, they're changing their recipe on the fly. So it should only get better every time they do it. Right? If they're truly working, and if we hear Dave Canales say it one more time, process over results, then every offseason should be a better offseason. They should learn more. They should tweak it a little. It should taste a tiny bit better. I as somebody that is a mediocre chef at best, I can grill. I love the analogy. I love watching the Bear. I love people that are good at it. It's like an art. I don't understand it at all. I'm somebody that if I were like, let's try some chili powder, a better chef would be like, absolutely not. That's going to ruin everything. Deal. Okay.
Get out.
You should take over. You
get out.
You need me to peel a potato? I can peel a potato.
Get out.
Give me some grunt work. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are here in the starting five, brought to you by Richie Law. Injured, Richie Law's on top of it, RichieLaw.com. Let's jump. Although let's hear some more from Dave Canales. I spoke too long there, but I love the analogy.
No, it's okay. Something that Dave Canales talked about today as well was not being afraid to challenge the status quo within the organization.
When I think about this whole offseason, and really this whole past year, the conversations with Dan and Brant was, guys, let's be honest and let's be really courageous about our processes, evaluating them, scrutinizing them. Let's be critical. Let's see what's working, but let's also not just say, hey, this is just how things are always done. Let's challenge our processes and let's find ways that we can improve this team and really pursue our best.
It's exactly what I was talking about. Exactly what I was talking about. And by the way, I do think, there were, like I said with Dan Morgan, there's a lot that I really liked about what the Panthers did last offseason. There was also quite a bit that they could do better, right? I mean, one of the picks that I really, really didn't like, Jonathan Brooks. Part of the reason, running backs get hurt a lot. And that's no disrespect to Jonathan Brooks, right? You plant funny, your knee pops. There's, what are you supposed to do with that? But that second-round pick, especially before they traded up to go get Jonathan Brooks after trading back, could have been something else. Could have been a contributor. I could have been a contributor. That's my Marlon Brando. Let's go ahead and jump in the starting five on to number one.
Mile-long three by R.J. Davis reins it in over the challenge of Watkins.
Doesn't matter. Davis just a little sidestep to his left, knocks it over Watkins' hand. Great shot.
Tar Heels tie it up at 34.
So there were two pieces of information that came out of the North Carolina basketball, the UNC basketball program over the last 24 hours. One, I think is big deal. Another, I think is not big deal, but worth mentioning. We'll start not big deal. Hubert Davis signed a contract extension that was agreed upon in July, so agreed upon last summer, finally signed mid-December. It extends him through 2030, and it's for between, when you include base salary and the additionals that come with being a head coach from your media agreements, maybe your shoe deals and all of that. It's about 1.7 that goes up to a little over 2 over the length per year over the length of the contract. It is rare, okay, for a program of means to have a head coach under contract for less than 4 years. Meaning you want to have at least 4 years on your contract in the future just for recruiting purposes, so you can tell parents, I plan on being here when your son graduates. Like, it doesn't actually mean you will, but it just seems important. Coaches will pressure their front office if they have a deal that is like expiring in a year or two, because it makes you feel like a lame duck. You can't get what you want done. So, extending him to 2030 is as much about having a contract 5 years into the future as it is about, any kind of confidence, especially when the buyout, according to Brendan Marks of The Athletic, is, I would say, for a program like UNC, wildly affordable. $1.25 million times the number of years remaining on the contract. So with, 5? $6.25 million. We've heard of much, much higher numbers for other teams. So that's not a ton of news to me. That's just a program has a head coach, and they're operating as if a program has a head coach. Like, it's not like they've made some big drastic, he's our guy for the next 10 years, and this contract says it. It's like, well, no. The other bit of news is Jim Tanner has been hired as UNC's general manager for men's basketball. This is a position that they did not have. So they've appointed, named, hired, whatever you want to call it, their first UNC men's basketball general manager, and it is Jim Tanner. Jim Tanner has a ton of experience, right? Every article I read, there's some other fun fact about him. He's been the agent for current NBA players, the Grizzlies' Desmond Bane, the Cavs' Jared Allen, the Spurs' Jeremy Sohan, the Nets' Cam Thomas, like guys that are making real money in the NBA. In the past, he's been the agent for Ray Allen, Grant Hill, Tim Duncan, Serge Ibaka, Jeremy Lin, Shane Battier, Jason Richardson, former UNC players like third overall pick Marvin Williams, legends like Sean May, Brandon Wright, Tyler Hansborough, Raymond Felton, Luke May, Joel Berry, others that I may have skipped over.
I think Vince Carter?
Perhaps. I don't know. I didn't write down every name I saw because I didn't want this segment to be Tim reading names, but very much could be Vince Carter. I've seen coaches that he represented. He represented Dominique Wilkins when he was a front office member rather than as a player. So he's been around the basketball world. He's also been around the UNC world. He is a graduate of UNC. He is a native of High Point, North Carolina. He represents his players, or has represented them, on and off the court. So not just in their basketball contracts, in their marketing contracts, which means he's worked with brands on advertising campaigns and finding endorsement fits, which is exactly what name, image, and likeness is. I hope, by the way, Jim Tanner, I hope they give him power. Right? I hope this is not a yes man. I hope they say, you're the GM, and occasionally you get to tell everybody what is going on. If you look at the football setup with Mike Lombardi as the GM and Bill Belichick as the head coach, that very much feels like Lombardi is there to execute whatever Bill Belichick tells him. I think on the basketball side, Hubert Davis at times has clinged to how it used to be a little too aggressively. So if Jim Tanner comes in and says, we need to do this for NIL, we need to do that for our collective, we need to make sure this is being taken care of, I think occasionally Hubert has to say, okay. Like, I hope Jim Tanner has real knowledge and real power. And if that's the case, UNC will be better for it. And that's also they're catching up to a bunch of other programs that have had that position filled for a long time. I think it's a good move for UNC. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, does need to grab some numbers game contestants. We do have those Luke Bryan tickets to give away. I know they were a hot ticket yesterday. So get ready to call in. We haven't opened up the lines yet because first you have to hear from our very own Dennis Cox.
Dennis Cox here for my good friends over at Law Tigers. Folks, believe it or not, you're actually running low on time. You're running low on time to go to caniacsbike.com and enter for a chance to win a custom Canes motorcycle. Pretty simple, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com, just like I said, because the Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, and the Carolina Hurricanes have all teamed up together once again to give a lucky fan a custom Canes motorcycle. Now, this bike's different than years past. In years past, it was a motorcycle that was custom painted, maybe had some custom features on it. This is a full-on custom build done by Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, where I bought my bike, by the way. Shiny Side Paint did a fantastic job. Canes colors, logos, decals, everything on it. It's not just a bike with some stickers slapped on it. This is a real, true custom paint job, and it's a gorgeous bike. Go to caniacsbike.com. Think about these gorgeous days that we have going on right now. Spring's right around the corner, folks. Imagine cruising around on your own motorcycle. By the way, if you're not sure how to, maybe you've never ridden a motorcycle before, don't let that stop you, folks. You can go take one of the riding safety courses at Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson. I did it. Learn how to ride. So then you can get on the bike, this custom Caniacs motorcycle. By the way, if you win, hit me up. Go to caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
It's time to grab some numbers game contestants. Right now, call in. We need 2 contestants. 919-860-5326. If you win, you'll get a pair of tickets to see Luke Bryan at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on June 7th. That's 919-860-5326 to play the numbers game. Luke Bryan tickets are on the line. Call in now. We'll play the numbers game next.
Listen for the...
Oh, my goodness!
Check in for the...
Beautiful back cut and a two-hand jam.
Don't miss the...
Race to the other end. Get ready for the show!
What was that?
A reverse pull-up! My goodness!
Hubbard got hit, and he made the shot!
You're home for the Final Four from San Antonio.
Cooper got it to rattle home!
99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50. Add any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Hello, Creighton Blackwell here from Coastal Credit Union and 99.9 The Fan. Tonight we are at Green Level High School, and we're here to celebrate the newest Scholar Athlete of the Month, Lexi Taylor.
My family is definitely like my biggest support through everything. My sister and my parents both support me through my hardest days and my best days, and they're always there to support me.
Lexi's a phenomenal athlete, comfortable with whatever you ask her to do. She's strong, she's poised, she doesn't get flustered easily.
And she's just like grown up so much as like a captain and a teammate, and she's been a captain now for 2 years, and I really just think she's been like such a great help to our team.
Well, I've been cheering with her since 7th grade and we're seniors now. So I've kind of like watched Lexi like grow up, I feel like, and she's like done the same with me. So I've like seen her like step into a leadership role, and I feel like she's just always super encouraging and keeps a positive attitude.
It means a lot to me to just be able to be recognized in such like a wide area with so many amazing athletes. So I just feel great to like feel like someone's like seeing all the hard work that I've been putting into my sport and my academics. So I'm very grateful for it.
Congratulations, Lexi.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Hey friends, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. We've got a big NBA game tonight. Listen up. FanDuel giving all customers a 50% same-game parlay profit boost for tonight's matchup. The Mavs and Lakers are playing for the first time since their blockbuster trade a few weeks ago. Will Luka come out hot and show the world he's in shape? Perhaps consider an all-Luka same-game parlay. Score 25 or more points, record 6 or more assists, and record 8 or more rebounds. Mix and match with players on either team for an even bigger payout. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul, P-A-U-L, and get your SGP profit boost for tonight's Mavs versus Lakers game. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in North Carolina, opt-in required. Minimum 3-leg parlay required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. The prize we'll be competing for today is a pair of tickets to see Luke Bryan at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on June 7th. The two contestants competing are Tyler in Durham and Sal in Morrisville. As always, we ask a question. Dennis picks his favorite answer, and that person gets to go first. We'll start with Tyler in Durham. Tyler, are you there?
Yeah.
All right. The question for today is, for some reason, I recall from my playing career in college that Luke Bryan was played during like timeouts a ton. That's just where my brain goes. So best song to play during timeout of a big game. You need to get the crowd involved. You want them singing, but you also want them locked in. What song is the best timeout song?
Thunderstruck.
Very solid. Any follow-up questions, Dennis? Nope, he has all the information he needs. We'll go to Sal in Morrisville. Sal, same question to you. What is the best timeout song in a big stadium or a big arena?
I say Country Roads.
All right, Country Roads. Dennis, two very different vibes.
Oh, that is a tough one.
Country Road, that's West Virginia, right?
Oh, yeah. That's old John Denver.
No, I don't mean, obviously I know the song is about West Virginia, but I think that's like WVU. They have like a big deal with that one.
They definitely do. Oh, that's a really tough one because, Thunderstruck, obviously, the energy from that song definitely can get you going.
Got to be a full timeout to get Thunderstruck in, though.
There's
the
thing,
a bit of a build-up.
But even like with Country Roads,
30 seconds not going to get it done.
Country Roads, though, like the crowd is going to get singing and really involved with that song.
Dennis, I think you've been hanging out with me too much. You're definitely overthinking this one.
I'm not.
You're diving into all the research. You're thinking of multiple angles.
I think I might go Country Roads on this one.
All right. I will say that was like a plus 200 upset there. I think Thunderstruck was the favorite.
But here's the thing, though, is that these answers are so completely different, but they also fit the criteria of the question quite well.
So you went with Country Road.
Yeah, right. Sal in Morrisville.
Sal in Morrisville. You get to go first, and Tyler in Durham, don't worry, you'll have your chance. Just have to wait a minute or two. So stay on the line. Sal, are you ready to pick a category?
I am.
All right, the categories are NFL players who had memorable NFL combines, NFL players who are somehow associated with food, NBA players that go by a different name than their government name, or NHL players, Hurricanes only.
Let me do memorable combine.
You said, sorry, you broke up there a little bit. Memorable combine players?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. If I say that again, you're just going to say that again, because if you break up like that, I'm going to need to hear it one more time. So be ready for that.
Okay.
I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, I'm good.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Vernon Davis, San Francisco 49ers.
85.
Correct. DK Metcalf, Seattle Seahawks.
19.
Incorrect. Chris Jones, Kansas City Chiefs.
95.
Correct. Justin Herbert, Los Angeles Chargers.
8.
Incorrect. DK Metcalf, Seattle Seahawks.
16.
Incorrect. Justin Herbert, Los Angeles Chargers.
Pass.
Chris Johnson, Tennessee Titans.
28.
Correct. DK Metcalf, Seattle Seahawks.
14.
Correct.
At the buzzer, nailed it.
Wait a second. For Justin Herbert, what did you say?
I think I said 5. I can't remember.
I thought you might have to go back and listen to that.
Check this one.
I thought he said pass, which
I said pass.
which sounded like 10, and you gave him the bell, but go back and listen to it. I just want to make sure, because if you said 10, you got a perfect score. If not, then you have 4 out of 5. So Dennis is going to check the tape for us. But Sal, solid show anyway. If you're wondering how these players had memorable combines, I do have the notes here, so we'll run through those while the judges work. Vernon Davis still has the fastest tight end 40 of all time. DK Metcalf broke the bench press record for wide receivers and run a 4.33 40. Chris Jones had a wardrobe malfunction where his tights kind of revealed some things during the 40 after he fell down.
Things are hanging out.
Justin Herbert lit up the passing portion, and Chris Johnson set a then record out of ECU with a 4.24 40.
Yes, it was a pass. So we had
Okay.
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5, Sal. After further review, the ruling on the field is overturned. The bell will be taken back. 4 out of 5. Sal, still a solid showing. Stay in the line. We'll see if it holds up. That brings us to Tyler in Durham. Tyler, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players that are somehow associated with food, NBA players that go by something other than their real name, and NHL Hurricanes only.
NFL players associated with food.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. You do need all 5 for the win. Any questions before we jump in?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs.
15.
Correct. Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia Eagles.
1.
Correct. Chad Johnson, Cincinnati Bengals.
85.
Correct. Marshawn Lynch, Seattle Seahawks.
28.
Incorrect. Will Levis, Tennessee Titans.
4.
Incorrect. Marshawn Lynch, Seattle Seahawks.
27.
Incorrect. Will Levis, Tennessee Titans.
9.
Incorrect. Marshawn Lynch, Seattle Seahawks.
25.
Incorrect. Will Levis, Tennessee Titans.
1.
Incorrect. Marshawn Lynch, Seattle Seahawks.
20.
You were getting closer. I'll give you that. You were getting closer. Marshawn Lynch, number 24 with the Seahawks. And Will Levis with the Titans were number 8. Unfortunately, 3, not enough for the win, but hopefully you had some fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you as well. That means Sal in Morrisville, you are the winner. You have Luke Bryan tickets coming your way.
Yeah, that was very nice.
What was that?
I said very nice.
All right, very nice. I agree. Go ahead and stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to grab from you, but congrats. I always feel like Trebek when we have to go to the judges. Oh, wait, the judges say. The pronunciation was not correct.
By the way, share the weird food associations with each of those NFL
Sure,
players.
I can absolutely do that. The category was NFL players associated with food. Patrick Mahomes, well known for his love of ketchup. Ketchup sandwiches. He puts ketchup on steak. That was a big thing when he was a young player. Jalen Hurts, I didn't know this, associated with crawfish. I know he's obviously Alabama in college, apparently a crawfish guy. Chad Johnson with McDonald's. That's one of the old school Hard Knocks things. He would walk in with McDonald's and then still go out there and outrun everybody. Marshawn Lynch with Skittles. Again, well known. He had him on the sideline. He is endorsed in Skittles. And then Will Levis, mayonnaise. Puts mayonnaise in his coffee. Also bananas. He eats bananas, peel and all. Will Levis, during the pre-draft process, had some interesting food takes.
He also apparently just eats the banana peel.
Yeah, I said that
Yeah.
he eats the banana
Yeah.
like a apple, like skin and all.
So weird.
Would that, like, be honest? You have one of the top picks in the draft, and you love a guy's tape, but you find out he eats bananas skin on. He I don't know, has a bunch of weird food takes. Is that affecting you?
It might.
Yeah, I think it would be hard not to, just like subconsciously. Like, I don't know, like, guy's strange.
It's like, this guy, is he a little out there?
Yeah.
Maybe a little too out there? Now, if you're a goalie in hockey, do you?
I want you to be a little
be that.
quirky. Yeah.
If you're the starting center, go nuts.
That's funny. That's legitimate funny. Goalie, like closers, relief pitchers. Some guys just need to be a little bit wired, a little bit different, and you got to be okay with that.
Yeah, if you're my closer, by all means.
Yeah, exactly. The Drive, Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The Canes playing tonight. We're going to talk about it more in a second, but first, here's Dennis Cox.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, don't go through another year with all that high-interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. Get your free rate quote now with no hard credit pull. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, looks towards tonight's Canes game at Montreal. What are we expecting? Stick around to find out.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Svechnikov, tick-tack, tied in Carolina on the man advantage.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Save made, rebound. Game over! Sebastian Aho gives Carolina a 4-3 win in overtime.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it. This is the year of getting stronger. And future stronger you can get started now by saving $28 or more when you join today. You in? We have all the best in-class equipment you could ever need to keep stepping it up. And free fitness training to help you mix up your routine. Plus, most clubs are open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends February 28th. See Home Club for details.
That spice is 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Hi, my name is Khadijah, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick of the chicken. It's just the right amount of heat, and it gets me excited. And then, pro tip, add that cilantro lime sauce. It cools it down. If the sandwich is at 100, the cilantro lime takes it to 200. It makes me want to, tell all my friends and family.
Order a Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich and a Diet Dr. Pepper on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
You know what's fun about Ram Truck Month at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington? Nothing if it's not you behind the wheel of a brand new 2025 Ram 1500. With savings as much as $15,000 off a new 2025 Ram 1500, you can have all the fun driving this powerful, rugged truck built for work, play, and everything in between. So get off your keister and get to Heister today. Hurry to Ram Truck Month at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
At WakeMed MyCare 365, we provide walk-in primary care every day of the year at the same place where we provide walk-in urgent care. So walk in or make an appointment for a checkup, physical, chronic condition, referral, you name it. Learn more about MyCare 365 at wakemed.org. On foot or by appointment, you'll walk in for the highest quality primary care and waltz out good to go.
A few contest rules from sports radio stations The Fan, The Buzz. No purchase necessary, 21 to enter and play. Limited to 1 entry per person and 1 prize winner per family or household per contest every 30 days. Employees of Capital Broadcasting, its agencies, sponsors, subsidiaries, other broadcast companies, and immediate families of the above are ineligible to play. Winners are verified, complete documentation, and are responsible for all taxes and prizes received. All prizes are non-transferable and cannot be redeemed for cash. Winners give sports radio the right to publicize his or her name, likeness, or voice. Sports may change contest rules and prizes at any time and holds no liability for canceled or postponed events. Complete info of sports radio contests available at WRALSportsFan.com or during normal business hours at 3100 Highwoods Boulevard in Raleigh.
This is what WRAL weather coverage sounds like.
Thunderstorm warning right now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
When your safety is a priority.
An indication that there is a tornado on the ground, so get in your safe spot
in this area, get in your safe spot right now.
With the tools that make a difference.
WRAL Storm Tracker is inside the storm.
WRAL has the only dual Doppler radar in Wake County.
Hear it and see it every day.
It looks like the storm is doing exactly what we predicted to do.
That's WRAL News. Weather coverage you can count on.
This hour of the drive brought to you by Enbridge Gas, formerly Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas. Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas customers are now proudly served by Enbridge Gas. Looking forward to a bright future together. To learn more, visit enbridgegas.com.
Shot right on by Slavin. Now back for Burns. They're trying to get it to Slavin. He scores! A bouncing puck. Jacob Slavin, the Minister of Defense with some offense. And Carolina is now within a goal with 4:54 left here in the third.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Canes tonight, right here on 99.9 The Fan, by the way, at Montreal. Now, this is my hope for tonight, right? And I say this is my hope because I think it'll just make it easier. Mikko Rantanen, 3 points, at least 1 goal. And I'm not even saying it like obviously you want everyone to play well. I'm just saying it like there's this weird contingent of people that I think because the trade was so hyped up, and it was so like, oh, players like this just don't get traded midseason. He's a 100-point scorer. He's this, he's that. They were expecting this guy to show up, and I think they were expecting him to like walk on water on his way to the rink every night.
Flamethrower.
Yeah, well, he's going to score 7 goals a game. And because he started a little slow, and I'm not like downplaying the fact that he started slow. Like I would have expected through his first 7 games with the Canes to have more goals scored than he does. But there's no reason to panic.
Oh no.
There's no reason to name there's no reason to go straight to this guy stinks without Nathan McKinnon. If he doesn't have Makar back behind him, it's a no. But see, there's 2 ways that this could go, right? One is I could enter into the trenches, right? We could put on our armor and go into like Kane's Twitter and Kane's message board and try to fight back against these overreactors, or he could go on like a 3 or 4 game multi-point streak, and then it'll just fix itself, and all of those very negative overreactors will pretend like they didn't overreact. I wasn't saying that. What are you talking about?
Oh, I knew it the whole time.
Which I'm fine with. I'd be as flip-floppy as you want. I just don't want the overreaction to be there. So when I say like this would be the easiest way is just have like three points and at least 1 goal scored. I'm not saying like, oh, there's, for the production element of it. I'm just saying I want everybody to unite on the correct side of history. And I think the easiest way to do that is to have him put together a streak that he has the ability to do. You have 10 years in the NHL showing Mikko Rantanen as an elite point producer. So it's in there. And yes, part of it is his brain, I believe, probably still is partially blended right now. Like just as a human, right? The moving, the adjustments, the new relationships, the what did I miss? Why didn't Colorado want me? Like all of these things in his brain. Part of that is just blended up right now. Another part of it though is just go play hockey. Montreal, if you're looking like statistically, bad defensive team. You have 3.4 goals per game, which is only better than Chicago, Pittsburgh, and San Jose in the entire NHL. And those 3 teams not exactly having great seasons defensively. So Montreal is down there giving up almost 3.5 goals per game. It's a good game to just kind of shut up the haters a little bit. But also, ready for this? This is called sports radio playing both sides of the fence. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself. Don't go in there thinking you need 3 points and at least 1 goal scored, even though I just said that would be the easiest way, right? Don't think you have to go out there and be like 1/3 Wayne Gretzky, 1/3 Bobby Orr, 1/3 Rod Brind'Amour. Like don't go out there thinking you have to do that, and everybody else stop expecting him to be that. If they win the game and he has a great game, I think that quiets a lot of the riffraff. If they win the game and he doesn't have the statistical great game, it's still fine. It's still fine. Like, I'm not going out on a limb saying Mikko Rantanen's a really good player. If you want to get into like a well-measured, like you want to get into a debate about if he's worth, $13 million per year over 8 or $14 million, and if there's a line that you draw somewhere around, I wouldn't go above 13.2. That's levels. There's shades of gray there. We can have that conversation. But don't think because he hasn't, scored 4 goals in his first 7 games as a Cane that now he's a half a point per game player. Like, he's still really good. There are levels to greatness, and we can decide with the Canes how good and how great he will be, but he's not a bum. So don't let a small sample size overreact you in that direction. If this were the NFL, and you played 17 games a year, and you traded for him and he had 7 games where he wasn't producing enough, yeah, that's, over a third of the season. You can dive in and overreact then. But 7 games in an 80-plus game season with all of the context involved? No. Rod Brind'Amour spoke to the media yesterday, and he gave his assessment of Rantanen so far with the Canes. And that audio will be coming to you in 1 moment.
Well, I think he's been good. It's just the puck hasn't gone in. Like, if you watch every night, he's getting chances right in front of the net, and something happens, or he's setting up guys to where normally you'd put those in the back of the net. So I think the points will come because he's all around it. But we're still trying to kind of figure that out, the fit and who he plays best with. I mean, there's got to be some chemistry in here. We're looking for that, so we may try different things just to kind of see if there's a better fit for him. But at the end of the day, we know he's a great player.
At the end of the day, we know he's a great player. Start there. Then, because the other side of it is, I want to have like today in their morning skate, they're skating. Who knows? They didn't commit to it for the game, but they were skating Rantanen with Roslovic at center and Svechnikov. Like, I do think there are conversations you can have about how to use him best, about who might play best with him and on a line, or what you need to do to get him going. But it seems like every time we try to have that conversation, it just devolves into, of course he's not playing well. Martin Necas is just as good. I'm like, whoa. I wanted to have a conversation about like reorganizing the furniture in the living room, and you want to bulldoze the house. Like let's tone it down a little bit. Let's tone it down a lot of it. And see, right? And see. I'm big on not making a decision until a decision has to be made. The draft or the trade deadline isn't even until next Friday. That's the first deadline you have to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even have to have everything decided then. You can still negotiate a deal moving forward. So just everybody chill, everybody watch a game, everybody relax.
Yeah, new league year doesn't start till July 1st. You have a little bit of time.
A lot of time.
A little bit of time.
And in the meantime, enjoy watching. You got a new awesome trade piece. People have been clamoring. I've heard the demands. Go get a big scoring winger at the deadline. Go get the guy. Gensel. Everybody was stoked about it till it ended poorly. Like, if you want him to take big swings, you got to give him a chance for the big swings to play out. I'm a fan of Rantanen. I want to see him play well. And you ready? You want to know what else I'm a fan of Rantanen?
What's that?
Everybody prepare yourselves right now. No!
Oh, gosh, the Moose call.
Moose call, baby.
We have not heard that in a few weeks.
He hasn't scored in a few weeks.
Well, the Canes haven't played in a few weeks.
That's a really bad Moose call. I need to listen to the Moose again to make sure. I don't think that's what it sounded like.
That was pretty close.
If he scores tonight, you'll hear the Moose call tomorrow. I promise you. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Moving on to Overdrive. We have a couple of GM conversations on Overdrive. UNC basketball has a GM, and Dan Morgan, the GM of the Panthers, spoke to the media. Stick around for those conversations right here on 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe to our YouTube on 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. We'd appreciate that. Enjoy the hockey here on 99.9 The Fan later tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.
Move your sports day forward.
You know, the need for John